So this is fun.
Yeah. Woo!
Dan's still in New York.
New York.
We're in Miami, but today we've decided to all be in the shipping container.
Yeah.
It's weird being all of us in here.
It is weird. We never do this, not even for Mystery Crate.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why is because Dan wants to be able to see us all at the same time, which is a great idea, except Zaz's head is so big, he obscures the camera.
Head.
Yeah.
So now, in order for Dan to be able to see us all, we are all in these weird positions like we're playing Twister.
Yeah.
Tony's off to the side. Chris is bending his knees a
My
little
right
bit.
foot's on green.
I'm over here leaning.
Yeah.
And Zaz's head is like an eclipse.
I got big ol' head.
Yeah, you got a big ass head.
That's how the kids say it. Big ol' head.
It's more A than an H there.
I hate that, man. These
Big
kids. It's supposed to be big ass, but
Yeah.
they say big ass. But the kids don't know. They just read it. So it's big all head.
Kind of like that.
My daughter called me bruh the other day.
What was that like?
She's 7.
What was the context?
It was just like I said, like, you can't do that. She's like, bruh.
Yeah, but bruh's been around for like ever. You know, that's
She's 7.
yeah, but that's not new. It's not a new term.
Zaz, you were calling your dad bruh at 7?
No, I'm gonna call him sir.
You called your dad sir?
No, I didn't call him sir.
I was gonna say
Will you ever call your dad bruh?
no. Recently,
Yeah?
yeah. Like after I became a man, I started calling him by his first name. What? Yeah. So I
For
call
real?
him, like my dad's name is Tony, so I call him T.
Like recreational?
Yeah, like recreational. Like T, where are you? Yeah. Or I rarely call him Tony, right? Like I call him T, I call him Pop, but like Dad, I haven't said in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't said dad in a long time, but I don't call my dad by his name either.
Even by nickname?
No. You say hey. I don't know.
you don't call him by his name at all?
Hey, where are you?
Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a 3 or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger 3 and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
You will forgive me as I stumble through New York, drinking too much every night in New York, because I'm seeing a lot of people that I'm really happy to see and celebrating with them a fun holiday time. I have been a little bit disconnected in ways that are hard to explain from exactly what's happening at Notre Dame over the last couple of days.
They're mad at you.
And how the country, well, how
They're
the
mad at me now because I'm sitting with you.
How the
actually.
country is turning against Notre Dame in a way that I underestimated. Like, I've been covering sports for a long time, but I didn't realize exactly what this would become over the last couple of days when you have Notre Dame actually being wronged, complaining about being wronged, and then America getting the chance to laugh at Notre Dame for whimpering about the wrong, and how frustrating it must be to actually be right about something in sports, but handle it in a way that complains and allows everyone to call you a whimper. I underestimated how much joy America would get from watching Notre Dame suffer.
So the Notre Dame thing, I want to be clear about this. One of the great things you get to do in sports, especially, and it's rare, but sometimes it happens, is be both Goliath and David. You get to be like the big bad thing with all the resources and all the history and literal golden Jesus, but also be the upstart that is being trampled upon by the bigwigs, the elites. And Notre Dame gets to be both of those things.
Oh, but how do you do this? One's so interesting to me. How do you successfully do being a victim, complaining about being a victim, and then become more of a victim because Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon can now unleash? I've always hated these people. I've hated them for 50 years. I've hated them, and now I get to hate them and enjoy that they're wrong. Let's play again. This, when I say I underestimated
They
this,
really do hate them.
no, the hatred. Look, we have unleashed a violent torrent of vomit that has existed inside of Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon and the most indignant of people who have thought that this is a sanctimonious franchise.
Well, they know Goliath.
They
know
45
that
years.
version.
And so play again. I did not do enough with this week. The live podcast reaction of those two kids watching Selection Day and realizing together, oh my God, they've bleeped us.
Certainly is going to be Miami or Notre Dame. So, number 10. No! Miami. Are you kidding me? Without Saturday, Notre Dame had been ranked ahead of them. Are you kidding me?
These are children.
Zaslow?
Okay, see, I'm glad that Amin just said that. Who cares that, first of all, they're not little kids, but they decided to go on a live video and stream their reaction to Notre Dame and Miami. And there are people in this shipping container right now, Dan, who think that we're doing something wrong by giving them exposure, by the way. Greatest moments of their lives, these kids. There's something wrong with... Amin, welcome to sports. This is how sports operates.
You guys are acting like this is an officially sanctioned Notre Dame
Who cares?
podcast. Like, these are just kids in a dorm room.
I'm pretty sure the kid on the bottom was wearing a wedding ring.
That's
what are you guys doing to this?
It's a promise ring. He's going to prom next week.
Can we isolate? I swear I saw a wedding ring on the kid on the bottom. We're calling them kids.
You got the winter social coming
These
up.
kids are so happy that we played this.
Best moment of their life getting airtime here. You're welcome, kids.
Do you guys realize how rare it is, okay, to have a singular sound speak on behalf of the entire Notre Dame consistency? The entire generations of Notre Dame fans are being spoken for with this one sound Roy is playing. No! And Michael Wilbon and Stephen A. Smith have been waiting for 50 years to trounce on this sound. No!
You're welcome, kids.
No! I underestimated, Pablo, that America would enjoy this sound coming from this institution more than it coming from literally any other sports institution. No!
I'm now realizing, like, what's happening here. And I'm glad Amin provides some element of pushback here because you guys fundamentally, Mike Ryan is not here today, but you guys fundamentally act like a super PAC for the U. And it's to the point where Mike Wilbon did text me yesterday. So Dan and I taped with Method Man yesterday. I don't know how Wilbon knew this.
That's a lot of look at me Louie there.
Oh, here's more. Because Mike Wilbon, I had not told Wilbon that, but he texted, I don't know how he knew this. He texted me at 4:12 p.m. quote, "Stop with Method Man and let's see you go after Notre Dame !" And he's not joking.
I just saw Fuentes walk into the room. Roy, has he gotten together the montage that I asked him of just go find from the internet an assortment of voices who are delighting in what is happening here? Because I'm telling you, when I've known Wilbon and Stephen A. Smith for a long time. I have not seen this spirit and this bile.
What is left to go after?
No,
you want me to investigate Notre Dame? Like, that kid, that sound feels, I told him, it feels like they've suffered enough. What do you want?
No, let me explain to you what's happening here, because I know Michael Wilbon and Stephen A. Smith, they're wrestling characters, how it is that they summon what is performative outrage and what's real. I've summoned the slumbering giant in me who used to hate for all the right reasons. These are two guys who have really gotten hardened by the industry. It is rare when I see the genuine rage of Petty in their voices and in their bosoms. What sound do you have there, Roy, that Fuentes has put together? Who are the stars of this sound montage on just the pettiness of hating Notre Dame?
It's Will Bond, Stephen A., Colin Cowherd, and Paul Feinberg.
And Dan, you're asking, he just came in here. He said, hey, guys, I got the montage ready. You should probably listen to it. Didn't have time to do that yet. Let's roll it.
Put on your big boy pants, grow up, and accept accountability for the role you played. I'm glad they're home. I'm glad they're going nowhere.
The crying from Notre Dame is quite frankly embarrassing.
Notre Dame, stop whining.
All of these other sports are involved with the ACC, except football. Oh, we want to keep those dollars for ourselves. How hypocritical is Notre Dame? Let me, the ACC, as long as I get my paycheck and then behave like this.
And had they joined the ACC, which they, by the way, are a member of in every other sport, they would have played for the ACC championship game. They would be in the playoff today, and they wouldn't be a bunch of sniveling crybabies and really, quite frankly, in my opinion, the laughingstock of college football.
You didn't have a strength of schedule. You had a stink of schedule.
So here you are with your selfish asses. You're out there being an independent, and the one thing you can't control, you want to whine and moan about it because your team lost head up to Miami to open the season.
Oh, yeah, they did play Miami. That's got a great defense, and they couldn't run the ball.
Instead, they cried, they didn't get their way, and then they said, we're going home, we're taking our ball like a 5-year-old.
Games in August counted. You wanted to play it, right? You went out there and played it, and you lost. Then you turn around, and you lose to Texas A&M. So you start off the season 0-2. Well, you won 10 straight, but who did you beat? Your storied victories was over Pittsburgh and USC. There's an APB out for both of those programs when it comes to the college football play. Ain't nobody thinking about them. I do hate them. Go ahead. Today more than ever. And I got reason.
Preach.
I just realized in listening to that, outside of Feinbaum, those other three guys don't actually care about college football.
Can I just say
they
that
just
Colin
love the
Cowherd,
content factory of Notre Dame. I can make fun of Notre Dame.
Colin Cowherd has personally turned me into the biggest Notre Dame apologist that you will find on this show. He clearly was told by someone to say strength of schedule. You should say stench of schedule, and then messed it up and just said stink of schedule.
That was a banger.
Stink was better.
Yeah,
Stink
that was a
better.
banger, Pablo. What do you know? What do you know?
It was very clearly a thing that was written a different way that then went to stink. This is just embarrassing.
Pablo is so right about this, and you guys are so wrong that the rhythm of that, the poetry of it, should have been strength of schedule. How about stench of schedule if you just want to make it terrible? But if you want to make it another level of terrible where all of you would go, that's a bar, just go to lowest common denominator, stink of schedule.
That made me laugh out loud more than stench would.
Shout out to Mark Slareth.
What do you guys know about funny?
Think of schedule.
We wouldn't know about.
It doesn't even begin to make
No,
sense.
it's not poetic at all, but he just dumbed it down for the sports radio audience, and it kills.
Think of schedule.
I really underestimated this. This happening to Notre Dame is better than Alabama. There is no dynasty in college football like Notre Dame for this particular thing. The idea that we have now gotten to, they've been wronged. We know this, but we get to laugh at them anyway.
No! Alabama had like -5 rushing yards as a team, and everybody's just saying stink of schedule.
Daz,
how were they wronged? I don't understand. How was Notre Dame wronged?
Go on. What do you mean?
I mean, seriously, like, how were they wronged?
Alabama is not. Look, I can make the argument very easily, okay, that Notre Dame's better than James Madison. That I don't need to see Mississippi against
Did they win a conference
Tulane.
championship, Dan?
I don't need to see. Look, Tulane won a conference championship and lost 45-10 the last time they played to Mississippi. There's no one on earth that's going to convince me that Notre Dame's not better than Tulane. Tulane shouldn't be playing against a team they've already lost to 45-10.
I thought you were the one advocating for merit, Dan.
They have no chance of winning the championship. Zero. Notre Dame has a chance. Tulane has 0% chance of winning the championship. They shouldn't be in this game. They're not among the best 12 teams.
Chance.
They lost 45-10 to Mississippi the last time they played.
How'd Alabama do against Georgia? They have no chance either, Dan.
They shouldn't be in either. Like, if I'm Notre Dame, I'm pissed that 5 different teams are in here.
Notre Dame is so hated that the entire college football playoff committee has been bailed out. Like, everybody should be mad at them, and they were for like a second, and now clearly Notre Dame's the actual thing everyone's making fun of.
What were you trying to say there, Amin?
Now I'm rooting for Tulane so hard for the Cinderella run, so that your sound right there can be in the montage we do when Tulane wins it all.
They lost 45-10 to Mississippi. If I'm Notre Dame and I'm watching, what James Madison, Tulane, like what? I said yesterday, and I think I have this right. Miami playing against Texas A&M with both teams having a chance at the championship seems to me like a different sport than Mississippi playing against Tulane. Like, it might as well be a different bracket of the playoffs because Mississippi and Tulane have so much less of a chance of winning the championship as either Miami and Texas A&M. And the reason I point out those two teams is because Notre Dame's looking at that game and saying we barely lost to both of those teams. That's the argument. But Zaz, what's the argument you're making on behalf of Notre Dame?
I'm not making an argument on behalf of Notre Dame. Never. Notre Dame for the last couple of weeks, it's like a joke that Miami fans should be comparing themselves to Notre Dame, that Miami should be ranked ahead of them. And now, look at you now, all right?
You know how Notre Dame got screwed just by them making this a TV product.
Yeah,
and
that's
they put Miami ahead of them for weeks for no reason. Yeah. So that is the one thing I think Notre Dame can legitimately
And you know
argue.
how unlikable you got to be? This athletic Bavakwa, for this athletic director to go on all these channels and these stations and to say the things he's saying. If you believe, most people believe Notre Dame got screwed, yet everybody now is bashing Notre Dame. Do you know how unlikable you have to be for everyone to seemingly agree? I don't agree, but everyone for seemingly agree that you got screwed, yet they're dunking on you. I mean, it's Bavakwa. I'll tell you, I got a piece. There's a part of me that thinks he should be fired.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
For what? Of what cause?
For Notre Dame to have gotten screwed in this scenario, yet everyone is dunking on Notre Dame because of this Bavakwa and him going all around the country saying the things he's saying.
Hold on, Zaz.
They look terrible.
Hold on. The reason why
I consider firing
Bavakwa. The reason why everybody's dunking on them is because they think they're better than them.
Yeah, that's right.
And guess what? They're not.
Yeah.
Guess what? Where they are, home.
That's right.
Guess what? They didn't want to show up to the pop chart.
Yeah, that's right.
Guess what? The Echoes podcast where you got Bavakwa.
Yeah.
Put it back on the screen.
Put
it back on.
Look at your serious face.
You know what they look like?
Get out of here with your serious
They look like they're at Belolio, Dan. There's a funeral going on in South Bend.
Look at that.
Jessica's going to be on the show with us later. With that Bavakwa.
Are we sure she's going to be on?
What Zaz is saying is both crazy and understandable, okay? Fire Bavakwa is a ridiculous thing to say. Bavakwa is saying exactly what Notre Dame fans feel. And, I mean, this is what I wanted to ask you as somebody, front offices, crisis management. I have legitimately been surprised that I believe that most of American sports fans would indeed make the argument on behalf of Notre Dame with a 9-game winning streak being one of the 12 best teams in the country.
Yes.
But I don't have a lot of examples that I can give you of that being the case, someone going out in public and advocating on behalf of the fan base and then having everyone turn on him because of the way he's doing it. So my question to you is, honestly, how do you do this if you're Bavakwa? Because this ain't the way. Even though I believe he's absolutely articulating what his fan base wants him to articulate, but he's doing it without an understanding of who and what he represents that's going to make everyone turn on him because he's saying the correct things on behalf of the fan base and everyone's turning on him anyway, and I just don't know if there's a right way to do it. Is there?
Dan, I'll tell you a little story that's kind of like this. I remember when I was with the Suns, we were locked in this heated race for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. It was us and the Nuggets, and there was a late season game between us at Denver. And whoever won this game had the season tiebreaker and was going to get that playoff spot in all likelihood. And Grant Hill has the ball, and he drives, and Dante Jones is dead to rights, so he just sticks out his leg, and he straight up trips Grant Hill. Grant Hill falls, ball goes out of bounds, they call out of bounds off us, we lose the game. The NBA at that time had like this call review system, so after the game, it was my job. I had to go into the system, and I had to log the play, and what was the purpose of the log? Oh, there's uncalled foul, and then describe the thing, and we sent it in, and we're like, all right, cool. And then we got the answer back from the NBA the next day, and they're like, upon further review, yeah, that should have been a foul call. You guys still lose the game. There are no free throws, nothing.
Yeah. It didn't make you feel better?
It was. We were like, why do we do this then? This is such a waste of time. And that's what I think about when I look at Bavakwa, as Zaz says. The idea, he did this. You know what? Did it change anything? Did everyone say, you know what? On second thought, they should be in the playoffs. Yeah, let's change it out. No one says anything. At best, everyone's like, oh, that's a shame. At worst, it's what's happening right now. You made all of public opinion turn against you, loser behavior.
Well, and also, like you're saying, okay, he's going out there and he's the mouthpiece for the Notre Dame fan and everything the Notre Dame fan wants to say. Dan, you can't convince me that Notre Dame fans are saying, oh, my God, Bavakwa better get in front of a camera and crush the ACC. It's an insane complaint about what the ACC did to Notre Dame.
Well, hold on. The least mysterious part of this whole story is why they're doing this and why he's doing it. The only thing that we live in an era where the only thing we care about is being right. It doesn't matter whether you get the justice you think you are warranted. It is the fact that you get to say out loud, I'm right and you're wrong. And Notre Dame is perpetually, I think, trying to tell everybody. And again, I think they're right about this. We got hosed. And everyone's just laughing at them because they just hate them. That's what's happening.
Pablo, the problem is, typically when someone behaves in this way, we say they're acting holier than thou. The problem is, in Notre Dame's case, they actually think they're holier than thou. That's the added context to all of this complaining.
It's great.
That's what I just said. You hate him. You hate Notre Dame. That's what that is.
It is so great, though, to have the endless cycle of content that comes from, we don't like Notre Dame because they think they're better than us. Wait a minute. Notre Dame thinks it now has a chance to remind us they are indeed better than you and you and you and all these other teams that are in the postseason. I want to ask, though, Amin, because I felt I'm not used to feeling your frailty, but I felt like you didn't have the confidence to say Bavakwa as well as Zaz said Bavakwa. So I'd like to have a Bavakwa off, because I do believe that the way that Zaz has dismissed Bavakwa is more of a song than I've heard it sung by anyone else in the media so far. So let's have a Bavakwa off, shall we?
Got it. Zaz, you go first.
Bavakwa.
Bavakwa.
Well, see, that's terrible, but not as terrible as what you did before when you just lacked confidence. Try it again.
Bavakwa.
No, not that. No.
Bavakwa.
Sing? I call him BVG.
That's going to be best musical performance.
Bavakwa.
No, the answer to your question, Pablo, can Amin sing? I believe Roy has answered it. Can Amin sing?
Held that note, though.
You guys don't think that there's another program in the history of programs that would create exactly this, right? I'm talking
It's
about
the perfect one.
I'm talking
It's
about
the perfect
all
one.
right, so do it throughout sports. Don't even make it college. Just give me the program that gives off self-righteous that would create the swirl of content.
It's like if the Yankees protested the wild card.
No, Tony's got the one.
Duke basketball.
Tony's got the winner.
Duke basketball. They think they're better than us. Guess what?
That's the winner.
They might be.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. When you say Duke basketball, the reason it's a better choice is because Duke has made us eat it recently. Notre Dame has not made us eat it recently. Like you have Notre Dame's success is fossilized and cobwebbed. They have played 4 championships recently, but been blown out. Pablo, off the top of your head, do you remember the last football championship that Notre Dame won?
I mean, I grew up in the 90s. So vaguely?
So Lou Holtz winning 1 is him summoning what was their generational past, but Duke has won recently. The Yankees have won recently, but people have enjoyed the last whatever years it's been of the Yankees not winning.
But there's something key to this, in fairness, right, to the argument, which is they are objecting to the rules. They're objecting to the system. And so when I'm reading Brett Yormark, who's the commissioner of the Big 12, say, and this is his quote, Pete Bavacqua is totally out of bounds in his approach, and if he was in the room, I'd tell him the same thing. You have to accept it. We all sign up for it. He's saying, we all agreed to this system. You are not bigger than this system. And meanwhile, Pete Bavacqua is saying, very conspicuously, the only Power 4 conference commissioner he's spoken to since Sunday is the SEC's Greg Sankey, which is now the next phase of the stages of grief, which is, I'm now going to get with the hottest girl I can to prove how attractive I am. And that's why he's saying that too.
I mean,
yeah, okay, so first of all, there's still Yormarks running around?
Oh my God.
I thought we got rid of all those guys.
Oh,
multiple Yormarks.
No, and doing a good job running that conference and getting the private equity money because he's running circles around all these idiot ADs who aren't as good at their job as that guy is as a snake oil salesman.
So the other thing, I'm sorry, Dan. Send me to the penalty box.
I'm going to write that one down.
Some pregnant pauses today.
As I'm walking away, as I'm going to the penalty box, let me just say, Danny B was talking in my ear.
No! Oh, wow. Lack of accountability. Pablo just said they think that they're bigger than the system. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. They're an independent. They've got a contract clause that allows them to guarantee themselves their way into the championship next year if they're in the top 12. A contract clause I'm assuming no other school has other than the one that's independent and not bound by conference teamwork. They are bigger than everyone, they think, but they haven't been for 30 years. As a championship entity.
But that's the conflict, right? Brett Yormark is good at his job because this is business. Notre Dame is good at being a program because it's business. And now they're reckoning with what it is when business and success are not the same thing.
I can't honestly think of an example. You guys are mentioning Yankees and Duke, and yes, many people would enjoy their downfall. I have watched over the last few years people rooting against Floyd Mayweather, rooting against Alabama football, rooting against Jake Paul, like where you're hate watching. You're tuning into hate watch.
Dodgers?
Yeah, they're going to become that if they aren't that already. Dodgers would be the modern equivalent, but that's from winning too much,
the
right?
Chiefs are getting a little bit of this season.
Yeah,
I was going to say the opposite. I feel like nobody hates the Chiefs. I feel like they're winning in the NFL, but people don't feel that way.
Taylor Swift effect.
The excellence, though, what's funny about what you guys are saying is all of those are teams or places that you have rooted for to lose because they've won the championships recently or won too many of the championships recently. There are generations listening to this, plural, that can't remember the last time Notre Dame won a championship. For them to be behaving like they're better than the system when we all agree that the system stinks creates the unbelievable scenario where they are right to feel wronged and we have turned from complaining about the system to laughing at the people by the system.
It's rare to have the variable isolated so clearly. Everybody hates the College Football Playoff Committee. We all agreed upon that. And the thing we all are saying is we hate Notre Dame more. So let's just talk about that.
It would have happened. You guys do realize that we were denied the scenario of all of this in America being directed at just Mike Ryan? All of this because people would have enjoyed this happening to Miami and then Miami complaining exactly this way. Because
Mike Ryan would have stormed. No, he would have stormed that hotel. He would have January 6th.
Yes, it would have been. He would have stormed the Capitol. That's right. What was that? Grapevine, Texas, was the name of the city that he flew a plane over. Mike Ryan would have been dressed as a Sherpa, walking around with a
QAnon shaman. Yes, QAnon shamaned it.
You guys do realize, right, that we almost got all of America feeling this way about just Mike Ryan, because Miami would have gotten this same thing for complaining about this based on just being obnoxious Miami.
We were all rooting for that for content purposes, right? Like when you saw Alabama get purposes. 9, you're just like, please. I'm rooting for Miami,
but then, are disgusting.
Dude, I was like, I wanted Miami to bubble just for the content.
No, man.
Just for the content.
Why would you?
You're a nuts man.
You're a
it would have been great.
Do me a favor, please, of putting in the picture-in-picture that Notre Dame podcast so that I can just see over and over the reaction. Well, that too. You could put them both up there if you want, because Mike Ryan was very close to being that Notre Dame podcast, to being everything that's happening to Notre Dame. I wanted to segue, though, here for a second while Amin and Zaz are watching what's going on with the Heat. I believe the disaster scenario has arrived for Tyler Hero. I believe that Tyler Hero is going to end up being traded. I don't believe that the last 5 or 6 games are just the Miami Heat have missed their 3-pointers in these 5 or 6 games. The worst possible thing, Zaz, has happened to Tyler Hero, which is in the last 6 games, 5 of them have been lost by the Heat. And worse than that, all of the fun, not the winning, all of the fun of, hey, we score 140 points a game, disappeared as soon as he reappeared. And all you have in front of you now is a fan base that fell in love with Norman Powell, is blaming Tyler Hero for coming back and mucking it all up. I really honestly don't know how this could have gone worse optically for what Tyler Hero wants to accomplish in returning.
Yeah, but it's not as if, okay, you know, Tyler's back and Norman Powell isn't getting the shots and Norman Powell's not scoring. Like, Norman Powell still is getting the shots and still is scoring, but yes, the optics are terrible. We know Tyler Hero's terrible defensively, and they have not been as good defensively over this stretch here where they've lost 5 out of 6. And most importantly, they've lost 5 out of 6, and they're not scoring the way that they were before. So,
Dan, also, if you look
optics
at it,
are bad.
They had a run and gun offense. They were looking very good in the beginning of the season, but it feels like it was a bit of a mirage, scoring all these points early on with a lot of people still trying to get things together, adding in another piece, and it's like this team was. I think Zach Lowe said on his podcast yesterday or a couple days ago, they're like 13th or 14th in offense, even though they're scoring so much.
I told you guys that when they were scoring all those points, it says instead of them. Everyone's like, oh, my God, this is the best offense in the league. I'm like, not really.
But they were great defensively.
They were great defensively. That was fact. But the offense was always slightly above average. And so what's happened is a couple of things. Number one is that doesn't really carry you. As we've talked about last few years, at some point you need someone who can just score.
And they're not hitting threes anymore.
Number two, and this is more important, Norm Powell talked about this. The league scouting report has caught up and said, okay, we're not going to let them just run every possession. We're going to slow the game down. We're going to ugly it up. Orlando did a great job of that last night. And now that offense doesn't have as many opportunities to put up those gaudy point totals. But Zaz, you're right. It is the defense. Last night, I'm watching Desmond Bane do whatever the hell he wanted. Yeah. And they never adjusted. They never came up and greeted that attack. They just let him keep getting to the rim over and over again and hitting threes, and he had his way. And this is a guy who's been having an awful season.
I knew that he were going to lose last night. I knew they were going to lose that game.
With this.
Well, what?
Again with this, you're a visionary after the fact. You never tell anybody beforehand, but you tell them after. Jeremy, do you have something for us here? Because if Wagner's not going to play, okay, and a bad 3-point shooting team, because Orlando's been that with Bane or without Bane, they've been that for 2 years. They're terrible at that. But Orlando and Detroit last year were a good deal better than Miami. Indiana as well. I expect that Miami will have trouble winning road games all year. And I believe before the season, Orlando and Detroit are better, and I believe they're still better. You're seeing what, though, Jeremy, after 6 games of the Heat have missed an awful lot of threes, like threes that are not contested, threes that they've been making all season.
Yeah, they got a bunch of open looks yesterday that they just didn't hit, and that's really where the role players have kind of come back down to earth, right?
Fontecchio going to make a shot this year?
Well, we were losing our minds over that. He's come back down to earth, and particularly the bench has
How about
played.
Jovic? He never even plays.
Where is that guy?
$15 million a year. He can't even off the bench.
They've played poorly on the road, in particular, that bench, and when you can't get out and running because you can't get a stop, that's where the bench struggles. And Jaime Jaquez Jr., not the same half-court player as he is in the open court when he's running that second unit. So this is where having the next 6 days before they play their next game is going to be a benefit to Erik Spoelstra, and that he can try to figure out, okay, what combination of guys do I need with this bench? How do I get Khalil Ware engaged when he's coming off the bench? Because
you're not blaming Tyler for any of this, though. Like this, all
I'm not
seemed to start-
blaming Tyler.
Okay.
I'm saying everybody has been doing a poor job offensively recently, but I also think it's not A plus B equals C with Tyler Hero. Like they happen to also just be playing poorly on the defensive end all the way around. They happen to look. Their starting lineup has still been really good. Like when you have Tyler
was a
Andrew
plus
Wiggins.
last night, by the way.
These are guys who have played well together. They've played 4 games with Norman Powell and Tyler Hero.
Let's not completely whitewash all this. Tyler Hero down the stretch was horrendous.
He was awful last night in the final 6 minutes.
And to me, it's like, he's been in the league 6-7 years. Don't do it. Don't do it, Zaz. I know you want to do it. Don't do it. He's been in the league around 7 years, and it's the same fourth quarter of like, as things are going wrong, his decision making is always, I gotta save it with this horrible shot, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not as mad at the wide open shots that he misses. Like that late one, that's like, everything was.
He had the one would have brought it to 4 with like 40
when they
seconds
forced
left.
2 turnovers and it was a momentum.
That was exciting.
It felt good.
He was too open. There is such a thing.
I'm mad at the one that he took before that.
With
where
like
it's
6.5 minutes
I'm like,
left.
what are you doing?
There were back-to-back possessions there where he took contested threes, and they were inching their way back into the game. Now, part of that is that they're trying to take shots 6 seconds in, and that's what they've all been taught. I mean, you can even look earlier in the game. There were 3 straight possessions where Fontecchio took a shot with 19 seconds left on the shot clock, and he wasn't in rhythm. Watching these guys try to figure out how to counter the counter from these defenses that are now pushing up past the 3-point line, it's an adjustment for them, and their bench has really, really struggled because now you have a disjointed unit where you don't have Jovic playing. You have Jaquez running everything. You have Pelle Larsson in particular, who really has fit better with the starting unit. This is going to be up to Erik Spoelstra to figure out what combinations now work as you probably shrink the rotation.
I mean, think about what you just said, though, as well, Jeremy. Like, the bench has been struggling so much, and you're right about that. And Jovic, who they just gave $45 million to, Spo doesn't even look down there and say, hey, Nico, you're in. Not once.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Fontecchio going to make a shot? I don't feel good about that as analysis 25 games in that the nation isn't going to laugh at when it comes to Heat basketball. Is Fontecchio going to make a shot? Also put it on the poll. He's too open. That's a thing. Yes or no?
It is a thing. No, he's right about that.
Chris Cody said that as if like it was a walk-off. He's too open. Where the things that are happening with the Heat, I mean, and this requires, I believe, some of your expertise on what Bill Simmons calls the Ewing theory, right? The better player goes out, Patrick Ewing goes out, and for a while, the Knicks play a little bit better. The thing that's not disputable, I mean, we can talk about all of their pace, but the Heat are a mediocre offense that plays fast, but their efficiencies have been 13, 14, 15 all season. What they've been is the top 3 defense in the league, and you lose defense when you add Hero. That's empirically so.
Dan, the problem is, again, this isn't fantasy basketball or a simulation or 2K. In a perfect world, yeah, I would break up some of these people. I would not have some of these combinations playing, particularly in the starting lineup. The problem is, how do you tell Tyler Hero, I think you might be better off playing with a bench unit?
This is the way that you tell
say
him.
it. That's how you say it.
The way you say it to him is, hey, Khalil Ware's not going to play 12 minutes a night on this team.
You didn't have a strength of schedule. You had a stink of schedule.
I can't believe you guys shat on that.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
There are a lot of things that I want to get to here. So, Roy, please get me the useless sound montage and please get me boldest take, because in an hour, Nick Wright is going to show up here and he's going to show up face to face with what he is calling his nemesis, Pablo Torre. He's got a series of objections that he has made publicly about Pablo Torre.
He's been banned from the studio by me. But I guess you're the only person at this company who can trump my ability to ban someone from this room. You have
banned him? He's banned? I didn't realize he was. I didn't realize that I was banned. I didn't realize I was accidentally overstepping a ban. So I didn't even ask you.
You did not. And this is how I'm learning.
Okay, I'm sorry that I didn't ask you. This is your. Well, it is. I guess it's our property.
Ooh, it's property off. Property off.
Dan, it's your property.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, it's your show.
Pablo's there a lot. I'd fight for Pablo having some of that
but Dan's in the communist green. It's
Dan is sitting in my, you know, Chris, how you have like a groove in a chair over time, like your butt is that Dan's sitting in my groove.
Changed forever, that chair.
Ruined.
What did you guys do? Wait a minute. You guys are back to the weight jokes. The feature I know that is best of the last Greg Cody show featuring Greg Cody is him calling me and insulting me. I won't spoil it, but they celebrated their 300th show by making their 300th fat joke at my expense. Like
we were celebrating the number 3. Yeah, Dan, we were celebrating the number 300.
What was it? What was the?
I feel like we can spoil this, Dan.
Is it Dan's
I feel like we can spoil this. We were just celebrating the number 300 in any way possible. My dad had a bunch of facts, sports facts about 300, all these different things. And then, of course, we wanted to talk to our most famous 300-pound guest. Wow. So we had Dan on.
God damn.
I mean, I get it.
This is coming from the people who enjoy the makers of the stink of schedule. You guys need to do better than this. You've done 300 shows, and the best joke you can make is it's our 300th show. Let's call Dan. He's 300 pounds. That's right. The best. That's the best. That's the
comedy.
Best you guys can do.
That's comedy. Per Ken Rosenthal, veteran Colorado pitcher Jimmy Hergert intends to enter spring training as a starter, a league source said.
I'm not going to do it.
Nick Wright is going to be here, and I'm sorry, I did not know I was lifting a ban. I remember the ban. I didn't think it was serious. Is this going to be tension? Are we going to have tension in here?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, to be clear, I banned him because he started complaining about how we weren't respectful enough to him the last time he was on my show. And so he got banned, and we'll find out.
All right, we'll find out together. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I'm not.
Let me go to the boldest take hotline. It's been very uneven, Roy. I don't know how we feel exactly about.
We feel
the
great
last
about it,
couple of
Dan.
weeks. No, see, you guys keep doing this. Look, I hope that the sponsors are aligned with what it is that we're doing, and I hope they understand that they can sponsor things that are terrible, and we can enjoy things that are terrible together with our sponsors. The boldest take hotline reminds me that our text machine and our callers were the best this industry has ever had in terms of a creative community competing against each other to be funny. The callers have lacked something to be desired in terms of consistency. So I'm sorry I do not frame this the way that you wish me to for the sponsor, but the sponsor is going to get truth-telling from me, and boldest take the last 2 weeks has not been good enough to support the sponsor that has supported us. So I need the callers to be better. Roy, how do you feel about this batch? Have you heard it, or did Fuentes send it over with no editing? Is that the way we do things around here?
That's the way we do things around here. Great selling on that there, Dan. But yes, it's going to be great, and it's brought to you by Boost Mobile. Boost Mobile, Boldest Take is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country. You can call in at 305-486-4689.
Hi, this is Russell from Wisconsin again. My bold take this week is that tongs should be called hot dog pliers.
Todd Bowles looks like an angry Raheem Morris. Jacoby Brissett is the Joe Flacco of Teddy Bridgewater's.
If Mr. Potato Head originated in Idaho, it would look like Zaslow. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba as 3 last names.
Manny Diaz looks like David Sampson and Donald Trump Jr. had a love child.
Replace hog with skin flute.
Male pizza has eyes at the crust. Female pizza has eyes at the point. Also, Nazi Muhammad has a kid playing D1 college basketball.
If you're going to call Fernando Mendoza the Cuban Kirk Cousins, you should call him Kirk Primo.
Limited steak, Jessica Smetana.
Slightly
Primo?
better.
Oh, really good
Primo's
limited
is
bake.
right there. You got to go Primo's, though. I mean,
Manny Diaz. That's a good one.
That was a great call.
We are going to get to the useless sound montage in a second, and there is some other sound that I want to get to here. But before we go any further, a story, I don't know if Pablo knows this story or not. I wonder if you guys have heard this story. The James Bond movie. Zaslow does not watch James Bond movies.
I've seen 1.5 James Bond movies.
Which ones?
I watched for the first time Casino Royale a week and a half ago. I enjoyed it very much. And I'm in the middle of Quantum of Solace right now, which I've been told is the weakest, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to finish it.
So there's a movie from very long ago. I guess, would Sean Connery have been the James Bond in Octopussy? I think it would have been Sean Connery. And there is a diamond-encrusted thing from Octopussy that's worth a lot of money that a thief tried to steal recently. I'm going to say in Australia. And the thief decided to steal this, Pablo, by swallowing a Fabergé egg that was worth a lot of money. And what ends up happening after that is they caught the thief, and then they waited around for the thief to incriminate himself. By the time that the Fabergé egg passed through his body, totally intact, with the price tag still on it, with the proof coming through the man's system. And I was just wondering to myself as it happened, how lonely it must have felt for that criminal to know that he had no choice but to, at some point, provide the proof of his crime to those police officers, and just sitting around with the stomach pain of stewing, of knowing at some point I'm going to go to the bathroom here. They're going to check through this, and they're going to find that I did indeed eat these diamonds and them. Jeremy, what are the details from this story that people need to know?
I'm so glad you asked, Dan. It was crafted in 18-karat gold, decorated with green guilloche enamel set, with 60 white diamonds, 15 blue sapphires, and the egg open to reveal a miniature gold octopus with 2 black diamonds for eyes. Now, if you're wondering, yes, this was in Auckland, New Zealand, where he walked into the store, swallowed it immediately, and yes, that chain was still attached after going through the digestive tract. As you mentioned, the price tag was still there. This had, of course, a price tag of 33,585 New Zealand dollars, Dan.
Is he washing this down with some liquid? What are we doing here?
You're asking the wrong question. Washing it down, I'm not concerned how he swallowed it.
Coming out.
I'm concerned on the way out because that thing looks textured, ladies and gentlemen. It's got all sorts of ridges and stuff. It's not enough. I don't think
a little loop situation.
Well, this is
when you feel it coming, you're like, let's make it a little easier.
It took
here.
6 days. So the police just had someone assigned to watch him for all 6 days.
Dan was feeling bad I'm feeling bad for that guy.
Roughly the size of a large grape is what they said when it was recovered on Thursday night.
Okay.
Still,
that looks like
very sharp.
that picture we just showed looked a lot bigger than a grape.
It's textured.
Okay, actually, now that I see it next to the thumb, my bad. I thought this was bigger. This is not that big a deal. This is easy. It's like the size of a thumbnail. I thought when we were zoomed, like right there, it looks like the size of like almost like a small baseball.
Yeah, it's just a little how's your uncle.
Like when you're zoomed in and you see the thumb next to it, this is actually not that impressive.
You realize it's not like a dump where it shapes towards your rectum.
And it's soft.
It is coming through.
This is making its way easy. That's a thumb, guys.
And again, it could be sideways. It's not going to be like the regular egg shape. It could show up this way, and then the chain could come out first, and then you're trying to push out something else, and then all of a sudden...
The chain couldn't come out first.
If the chain came out first, it's actually good.
Chain's never coming out first.
Does it hang low? You could do a little bit of this.
True.
Oh, if the chain came out.
You yanking my chain?
You can do a little bit of this
No,
with
he's right
the
about that.
pantomime.
Yeah,
is
he's
what,
right about
wait
that.
a minute. So you milk a cow. Look, for
That
those
is
of
quite
you who
the
don't
visual.
see what Amin's doing.
Zaz's head is blocking Amin.
Okay, Amin
Big
is
ass head.
milking a cow. He's milking a cow, grabbing the chain. I don't know if he has this officer who had the, the moment in life where that officer has to say to himself, what have I done with my choices that make me someone who has to wait past this next to this criminal for 6 days? And then you have him coming over and milking the chain?
You know what they call it when that guy got his docket for the week, that police officer? Called it the stink of schedule.
When you do it, that sucks. When Colin did it, it was great.
I'm
You did it, it sucked.
I'm picturing them pulling the chain. They're pulling the chain, and then they get to where the ball's there, and they get a little tension.
Oh no!
And then the guy, he's like, I don't want this out, so he's clinching, and then they start tickling him, so he stops flinching.
Well, you guys are ignoring the idea that you understand for those 6 days that guy was trying to figure out his alibi, because 6 days is not a normal amount of time for something to pass through a system. 6 days. You guys think there's a lot of stuff that you're eating today that's not coming out for 6 days, and then you're saying that the ridges and the size of that and the chain aren't going to make it problematic to a digestive tract.
Dan, this is my favorite part about this. Is for 6 days he's sitting there and the cop is like, "You're gonna have to dump sooner or later." And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't eat anything. What are you talking about?
Roy just nailed the noise that it would make on the way out. Yep.
That's after the last yank.
Can we that's horrifying. Can we remark on the fact that it took 6 days? Am I alone in thinking that's over what I thought the line would be?
He was trying to not get caught. This is what I'm saying. Those 6 days of sitting there and just knowing you're denying everything for 6 days, but you
just
know,
clenched for 6 days.
You know in your soul that the crime is going to be proven as soon as you go to the bathroom. It's a horrible feeling, but I think you guys might be right when you say this police officer was not questioning his or her existence because he would soon have to milk the chain and wait for 6 days for his crime to be proven. This is the most confident police officer there's ever been. Soon I will have the proof delivered to me if I can just sit here and wait. Soon I will catch this criminal because there's no way that once I sift through this, we won't be able to prove what's proven in the video, which would have been easier. It would have been easier to prove by just having the video of the guy swallowing it. No?
There's a label. How did the label survive intact? That is the most shocking part of this entire thing.
Lamination is really impressive.
It does not look like it's been through anything.
Is it indeed laminated? Is the sticker price on the Fabergé egg, is it indeed laminated?
Oh, it has to be laminated.
You know, like in Titanic, when they're like trying to clean off those real like artifacts from the down, like that's what this is like right here. It's like there was all over that, and they washed it off.
Dan, you say milking, but I think it's more of like a flagpole. You know how you have the thing on a flagpole? You're like, and you're putting the flag up. You're just doing it the opposite way.
Thank you.
This is more milking, right? You're doing up and down. This is more flagpole.
And then at the end of it, as soon as we get that last tug, we get that sound of.
Yep. There it is.
I actually thought that it was a little more like Amin was trying to climb a rope in gym class, and he was trying to get up a bit of a.
You got to use your legs for that one, though, Dan.
Did you guys?
This increases the resale value, right? Like the price that it went in is not the price that it is coming out.
That's a good question. Now you've got a great story behind beyond.
But guess what this is? Beyond, I say, gesturing to my wife's neck.
Beyond the behind. Yes, I mean.
Now we know what kind of rich person Pablo is, right? It's like, I'll pay you double for it. If you eat it first, and then 6 days later,
keep the label.
I didn't want it before, but now that it has the story, can you imagine being at a cocktail party and your wife's wearing it around her neck, and you're like, "Look, there's one part of this story that makes it interesting, but it's the next part of this story that you're really going to want to hear."
Dan, your next bet with Nick Wright, loser buys the egg.
Yeah, it's only $19,000, Dan. That's even less than a white Corvette.
No, it's worth more than that now, according to Pablo, because he's one of these rich freaks who likes the things to go up in value based on the story involved. Are you guys thinking now that it is official? Because I mentioned yesterday that the Philip Rivers is working out for the Colt story is the rare sports story that I saw being just shared with a number of my friends, because there's something about Philip Rivers and Philip Rivers' age, that he's got so many children, that made it a both funny story, but also an interesting story, because the AFC is wide open and the Colts traded for Sauce Gardner as if they thought they were a piece away. So Philip Rivers is being brought in. Are you guys expecting Philip Rivers to play for the Colts? Are you guys expecting Philip Rivers within the next week or two to be something that heads into the playoffs looking to play against the Houston Texans after not playing for 5 years.
100%. 100%. I mean, Dan, he signed a practice squad right now, and I mean that's just a formality. Like, learn all the plays, get used to the language. He'll probably start not this coming weekend, but like next weekend. You're not bringing that circus in so that he could just be on the practice squad and back up. And he's probably not coming out of retirement just to be the backup. I'm sure he got a guarantee. He went in, he worked out. We like what we see. Do you guarantee I'll be the starter when I'm ready? Yes, we do. Okay, let's do it.
Is the state of quarterbacking in that sport so pathetic? You know, Justin Herbert is hurt. He wins with a 150-yard game. They can't protect him. Alt is hurt. The best teams in that sport are limping to the finish line, as all football teams do at the end of a season because of how hard a football season is. We're always ready for the Tyrod Taylor experience at any point in a season because all of these quarterbacks get hurt, even though the rules are meant to protect them. Is the AFC so wide open that anyone listening to this believes that the Patriots, with the offensive lineman being hurt, with the Jacksonville Jags being someone you do not trust, with Josh Allen being a super unique player you don't trust, even though he's got 24 games with 4+ touchdowns, and the next closest person is not within 9 of him? People don't believe that Josh Allen's going to win the title this year, even though it's all set up for him to win the title this year. Is there the belief among the people listening to this that Phillip Rivers is a name that I don't care he hasn't played in 5 years? I believe the Colts still have a chance with him.
Well, listen, the Colts also, their first rounder belongs to the Jets. So the entire incentive for this season is we need to maximize what this season is. We are actually incentivized to do everything possible, however desperately, to make sure that we have the best record possible in the regular season. And so then the next question is when you hear a quote like this, and this is from a team source quoted by ESPN.com, you get a sense of, I suppose, how desperate things are. Quote, options out there are slim. He knows the system, so why not? What the heck? That's the endorsement among basically zero other compelling options for why a guy who's really tight with Shane Steichen is the guy who they brought in. They have a relationship, Rivers and the guy who's in charge of the offense with the head coach.
We're talking Phillip Rivers. I got a stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day.
Phillip Rivers was a starting college quarterback when Bill Clinton was president.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Did you know that Phillip Rivers was a starting quarterback when Bill Clinton was president? I want to talk a little bit about what J.J. Redick had to say about NBA players and social media validation and the reason that people are playing today. Today's generation is playing. I mean, you have seen a shift. We've all seen a shift between our generation and younger generations. I have talked to a number of people, for example, who are in positions of power, who have gotten older, who basically
Your power friends.
still. Well, yes, thank you, Chris. Yes, my friends in power. That they have 20-year-old employees, and they just have to sort of understand that if you're in a meeting, the 20-year-old employee is going to be on their phone the entire time, and it's just a different generation that works differently, and you have to work around that generation. What is J.J. Redick saying, Amin, about today's 20-year-old player that might produce a Ja Morant that none of us totally understand?
Well, I don't even think he's talking about 20-year-old players. He's talking about players in general in the league because, Dan, we finally reached that level where about 90% of the league grew up on social media. Like the guys like Durant and LeBron who remember when social media entered our lives, there's only a handful of those guys left. Everybody else, all they know is being talked about on Twitter, on Instagram, on everything else. And so this is J.J. Redick talking about kind of like the challenges of coaching the modern athlete.
these guys, they read every single thing about them. They read every single good thing that's said about them. Even if it's Joe Smith 496-842, they read every single bad thing that's said about them. And so what has happened, I think, is guys now just value, did I play well or did I play poorly? And I'm going to feel really good if I played well, because all these people are going to say nice things about me. And if I play poorly, I'm going to feel really bad, because all these people are going to say really bad things about me. And so getting guys to neutral and consistency every single day has just become incredibly difficult in our league.
Guys, that's called an external locus of control. Learned about this in business school as well. External locus of control. Why did you play poorly? Oh, because of this, that, da. Internal locus of control is because of things that I control, and I know how to balance myself and figure out what I did right and what I did wrong. And what he's saying is these players are all seeking validation from the voices on the internet without even a consideration to whether these voices are even legitimate or even real, to be honest with you, because we got so many bots running around here just trying to incite people.
But I mean, the word that I've talked to you about before, which I think is the most underrated and should be classified as like the lens we see everything through in sports and in business, is incentives. And I think we're living at this strange moment where it's not merely that your mentions and your social media stuff is psychologically compelling. It's also money. It's also a thing you can justify as being very important to your brand. To connect a couple of stories here, connect the Notre Dame stuff and like why are they mad, to connect a bit of the aspiration side of this. I mean, if I can do a little bit of the Clippers stuff with you for a second, as someone who's on the show in this studio, typically when we talk about it, I thought it was fascinating that we're entering this part of sports that feels like actually winning games is not so much the point, in a way that makes me feel very old. Like I saw Lawrence Frank, the president of basketball operations, and Ty Lue, the head coach of the Clippers, basically being told, according to the reporting, that they're getting extensions amid the worst season in memory. And I'm thinking, why would you do that when the record is so bad, when the wins on the floor are not coming? And I think about this when I think about Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU before the playoff, when like the wins were supposed to be the point. I think about it when we were just talking about draft picks and tanking for draft picks. The wins in the actual arena are not the point. I think about this when we talk about the gambling scandal, right? Where there are self-interest, there is money that is motivating people to care about other stuff outside of the actual wins, which are, of course, the entire point of the games. It just feels like we've gotten to a point in sports where winning actually is undervalued. And it's social media, it's sports gambling, it's, frankly, side deals with executives that are serving purposes that are not actually to the good of the team.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly on a lot of what you just said, right? And first and foremost is that this is like an old person versus young person thing, because teams tank for Hakeem Olajuwon and for Patrick Ewing, and like that, like tanking for that purpose has existed for as long as we had a draft. And the reason why is because, not because just to say, oh, that was the goal. The goal is to get one of those guys who will then represent many, many wins in your future. So it's these short-term sacrifice versus a long-term gain. In the case of the Clippers, I would say that's still an anomaly. The idea of a coach getting extended despite having a tough season, that's still not the case across most major sports. We can, and it's actually almost silly that it's the opposite, which is, wait, we know you're a good coach. We know you know what you're talking about, but we're losing, and I need to blame somebody. You got to go. So Ty Lue is one of the best coaches in the league. The Clippers know that. By logic, they should want him around. But we've been conditioned that, to foolishly have to hold, quote-unquote, someone accountable. Lawrence Frank is a different story, because you could argue a lot of the issues they're into right now are in part because of his decision-making. But again, I would imagine that the Clippers right now are trying to present a united front against what they consider to be an assault on their character and all that. When you talk about everybody else, right, Lane Kiffin or all these other things, the incentive has never changed, because you know what the number one incentive is, Pablo? It's money. It's always been money. It's never been anything but money. And anybody who tries to romanticize it is kind of living in a Pollyannic existence. The reality is money's always the number one thing. Now, the part where it's different, where it is true, old people versus new people, is the idea of the importance of social media, the importance of random strangers' opinions to not only my success or failure, but my well-being, my mental health. That's the part that we haven't had before. Because I was thinking about this when I was listening to JJ Redick talk. Back in the day, guys didn't even read the papers. They wouldn't know what was said about them unless someone brought it to them. And now you've got guys at halftime and immediately after a game is over. We're talking here, who checks their phone during a meeting? Man, their players, literally coaches talking, they're on their phone checking what people are saying about them on Twitter. That's real, and that's happening, and that's something that's never existed before.
Pollyannic existence.
You know, I had to bring up the game, because Dan thinks there's only one Harvard guy around, but,
I think it's Pollyanna-ish.
You know
record,
what?
yeah.
I remixed it.
That's why I called him out. I knew that.
Ouch.
I do think, though, the conflict of interest is unprecedented in terms of just like, what are the things that you think as a sports fan people care about, and what's the thing they really care about? Money has always been the story. I just think sports right now is more naked, Dan, in terms of just saying, yeah, look, Lane Kiffin had to go, even though he's about to compete in the postseason, which is the entire point. Or in this case, of course we got to keep our executives because they're good for what we want as a team, even though they are losing on the floor. It connects to the fact that we were just talking yesterday about private equity coming in. I believe it's Utah. The University of Utah just had this giant deal they just announced. I believe, fact check that for me, Jeremy, if it's Utah, where it's private equity coming in. And the thing I want to warn people about is that you think that the promise is these private equity investors will put their money in because they think that you get more money when you win. And my point here is that money and winning are actually disconnected in ways that are more obvious than ever. And that point is why there's a conflict of interest with the big business that is more nakedly running sports in a completely unregulated way.
You know what's funny, Pablo? People always think about Donald Sterling. Obviously, he was an awful person, but he ran the Clippers into the ground. They always made money. He ran it super cheap, and it proved that if you want to make money, there's a way to do this. It has nothing to do with winning or success.
I would like to segue from what it is that we're talking about here to yet more useless sound. We have not gotten to this. It takes a long time, right? It's been hard to replace Billy. Even Billy struggled with getting and gathering all of the useless press conference sound from all of the useless football played on Sunday. But we finally got curated the best 2.5 minutes that we've got from this week's useless sound. Hit it, Roy.
This is a tight backdrop. All right.
First of all, glory to God. What a great afternoon in Western New York.
One of those deals that, it hit me Friday night. It was kind of going around. I think our little boy gave it to my wife first and then got me pretty good.
It just gives us, the let's go KO, kind of feel to it.
Classic Steelers-Ravens.
Try to go 1-0 every time we play a team.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into what I said to him. He knows what I said to him.
Really hard to try to put this in words.
The guys don't ever get frazzled. They don't get panicked. They just go to work.
Caleb was doing everything he could. He put his Superman cape on a few times.
Let's not take these East Coast trips for granted.
We know that we're not just going to continue to win games because we've won them in the past.
Yeah, they're fast. We got guys that can run too.
I just think we were in aggressive posture all day. I just think that's how we got out of bed this morning.
Nobody's bigger than me. For Coach O'Connell to say, the offense is going to start it off for us, it was tremendous honor.
The only thing that I can't say, I didn't have these guys ready to play.
When you can attack every blade of grass is something that ultimately we want to be able to do.
That game there is one of the few we've had where we really played complementary football.
I guess I don't know what holding is anymore.
Stack plays, played complementary football, played the situations really well.
Guys doing their job, and when you do your job, good things happen.
It's a one-game season every time.
Man, I thought as the game got thick, you really felt his presence.
Passing out game balls, trying to do the fist pump as much as you can. You realize how out of norm it is for me. I'm a big hugger, and hopefully I'll feel better and can get back to being normal with these guys because, I don't like this.
We don't control who wins and loses. We just control what we can do.
That's something, that's going to win you a lot of football games, and we just got to continue to strive to do that every single week.
Make sure you called the Shaheed touchdown at halftime.
Maybe.
It was a hard-fought game. We had our moments. They had a couple more.
That's why you go do business with a guy like Aaron. for thick days like today.
Proud of the guys.
Tyler Barron has a knee.
Rome is such a vital part of what we do, and in a lot of ways for Caleb, it's his blanket. I might get a fine for that for bragging.
I know we're up against the wall here.
That's a formula to win games in December.
I just feel like we were able to stack positive plays and execute in all three phases.
Just wanted to be able to be smart, not give ourselves a chance of giving it to anybody else because of how contagious this can be. And hopefully I didn't.
It's football. Whether it's hot, whether it's cold, got to go out there and you got to play.
They smashed us today.
Everything was big.
Nobody's bigger than me.
So, Amin, was it the coach of the Rams that was talking, or were your ears being electrocuted? I couldn't tell what was happening while Sean McVay was talking there.
I was in the middle of an Arnold Schwarzenegger 1990s action movie, and he's being tortured. Apparently. Oh, so you're not going to talk, huh? Play it again.
Because it did look like the running man outside when he fell. He wasn't getting any oxygen, and his eyeballs were exploding. It did feel like
Total
that.
recall. That's total recall.
That's a fine.
Well, it was partial recall because I couldn't remember the planet he was on.
Also, it was partial recall when you said it was Sean Connery before. It was Roger Moore in Octopussy.
Oh, no. I got it wrong. Roger Moore in Octopussy. I also enjoyed from that batch of crap the cliche that has now become, I've heard it so much in football. He said, attack every blade of grass, defend every blade of grass. How useless is your coach telling you to do that, to defend every blade of grass on a football
What's
field?
the Jags schedule, though, Dano?
Their record?
Yeah, what's the record?
Because I don't know what their schedule
Why
was.
did you say schedule?
Did I say schedule?
Stinking schedule.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You want me to leave?
Can you tell me
What's their schedule?
No, that's I don't have anyone in the other room to give you a penalty, so you'll skate on.
I
that
ran in
one.
there earlier to hit stop talking for Jeremy, but he stopped before I got in there.
Yo, what the?
Go in there and kick. Go into the other studio and press the delayed penalty that kicks Tony out for not speaking for 27 minutes and then saying, "What's the Jags schedule?" to me. Go ahead and figure out whatever it is that you should hit there. Well, I'm just saying, it's crowded.
Private
in here.
equity.
Only 2 minutes. Peste tremenda come mierda.
That, you know what? I'll accept that one because of the penalty. I'll take it.
Just private equity and then trailing off.
Zaslow, I have been happy to see that. Oh no.
The Nationals and Orioles have had steady communication about Mackenzie Gore, sources said tonight to John Morosi. There's no indication yet that a deal is close.
You know, oftentimes I say we should try bits. We should let it try to breathe. There's nothing wrong with it. This is quite possibly the worst bit we've ever done.
I didn't think that we could find something anywhere in our library of sounds more annoying than just Jeremy's actual voice.
Per John Morosi, multiple second basemen are being discussed in trades across the industry.
No, I'd be okay with that, I think. I think I'd like that. Okay, if you want to give baseball updates the rest of the show in that voice, I'll allow it.
I miss Brown Jeremy.
The Brown Man Group. That joke didn't get enough credit. That joke deserved more credit than it got. But I've been happy here to see Max Kellerman's return to media. The media has been a lesser place because the sports media, because it has not had Max Kellerman's intellect around it. But I was surprised by the choice he made. 2 years of silence, being paid for by ESPN, running the risk of disappearing, and then coming back, not surprisingly, with a splash, boxing, Netflix, but teaming up with Rich Paul as his next media endeavor. Zaslow, what is the substance of what Rich Paul said? Was this the first podcast that he did with Max Kellerman? They're now going to be doing this.
I don't know
regularly.
If it's the first, but this is the first clips that I've seen, and I don't know. It caught my attention. So Rich Paul is with Max Kellerman, and you know the Lakers. I don't know if you're aware, Dan. Lakers are having a really good season. All right. The Lakers are second in the Western Conference right now. They play the Spurs tonight. You know about that NBA Cup, Dan?
Don't care.
Okay. Well, they've been in the NBA Cup tonight. they're 17-6 on the season. They're second in the Western Conference. By all accounts, they're one of the great surprises of the league so far this year. So listen to what Rich Paul had to say here, and he just flat out telling Max Kellerman, Lakers are not contenders.
Like, I personally don't think the Lakers are good enough to be contenders right now. Not right now.
When you say contenders, what do you mean?
I don't think they have enough to get to the Western Conference final. I don't think they have enough to get to really.
So that's Game Over with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul. It's their podcast, their co-host. It's called Game Over. And I don't know, Dan, I just think it's weird, the timing of it. Like, I'm wondering, okay, so Rich Paul and LeBron, they're calculated in the things they say. You know, they're not just shooting off the cuff, you know, and they're not saying things, you know, off a whim. And I wonder why Rich Paul right now is deciding to say that a team that is second place in the Western Conference is not a contender.
Because Oklahoma City's a lot better than everybody, and he's only saying the most obvious thing. But you're right when you say he shouldn't say the most obvious thing when he's always speaking on behalf of LeBron. What do you have here, Jeremy?
You know what else Rich Paul said in that podcast? LeBron was always a pro regardless of what Miami was. Sometimes that gets misconstrued. But Pat Riley had a championship mindset. The foundation was it don't matter if you're upset, we're doing things this way. If there was room to grow for the Lakers, it would be in that department. Now, why do you think they're talking about Miami this much, Dan?
Yeah, Jeremy's on this kick, Dan, that, like, LeBron can't stop talking and praising Miami.
He can't stop talking about Eric Spoelstra. It's insane.
Go ahead and argue with him, Zach.
I'm not going to win an argument with someone who sounds like that. You think I'm going to win that? I've lost already.
There's an uneasy tension that I have in this room right here. I don't know what to do with it. Perhaps these two men will sort it out. They will explain it to me. It's not the only tension we have around here because Nick Wright has something for Zaz too, but I've got to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
He's here. Nick Wright is here in our presence. Always happy to see him. He's doing so at a time he's got to feel very vulnerable because publicly his Kansas City Chiefs, after a run of dominance, have made him look bad, and they never make him look bad, and they've made him look bad here for a couple of weeks now.
I actually think they've made me look great, Dan.
That's not even the tension I'm talking about. We'll get to that tension in a second.
Sure.
Pablo just told me before you got here that I had lifted a ban. You were banned from this studio, and I didn't even tell him I'd lifted a ban. I didn't know he was banned from the studio. And so Pablo just told me that I Bigfooted him, that I sat in his seat, and I allowed you to come in.
Big-butted my seat and Bigfooted
I
the
allowed
policy.
you to come in here when he had banned you, and I don't know the nature of this ban, and I disrespected him by lifting it without knowing
I mean,
of it.
if we're going to just get right into it, this could get awkward.
It's already awkward. You're wearing a cardigan in my studio.
I'm pretty, I'd be careful on the my studio part in the room with Dan, but that's neither here nor there. I don't check the books. It's a fake ban that was done for internet applause, and that since this ban, here's the context of it. Pablo invited me on the show along with Wilds. We came at our own expense, mind you. Created what I think
at your own expense. Did he not send a car for you?
Of course not.
Did I send a car for you today?
Yes, of course you did. And so that's but that's fine. It's no problem.
I'm just impartial as a journalist. I wouldn't pay.
Yeah, Wilds and Pablo are longtime friends. Pablo and I are longtime acquaintances, and so we came, and it was. I don't want to call the experience unpleasant, but it was
so fun.
I came in and Pablo's like, "Hey, remember this thing you said to me at a Christmas party once?" And I'm like, "Not really, but I guess this is where we're at." Whatever. It was content. It was fine. We did it. Pablo then asked, texted us again, like people liked it. Come on again. And I kind of put it off. And then I came on your show and I think I made fun of him a bit. And then Pablo did a thing with Katie Nolan where he's like, Nick Wright and I don't know, Liza Pippen or something, the two people who have been banned. He's like, he's banned.
Larsa.
Okay. And then post-banning, if I showed you the text thread between me, Wilds, and Pablo, it's a lot more, hey, you guys want to come on again?
and me not replying, and Wilds, I don't know if he did it or not. And so to that, I would say it was a fake ban for internet applause, which it clearly was. And so I didn't feel actually banned from your studio that Pablo works in because I have been invited here before. Now, your great staff, when they asked me, they said, Dan's going to be in town. Would you like to come on? I said, of course, I'd do anything for Dan. That person, who I think does a great job, but I don't want to name he or she because I don't know if this person would want me to, said, just so you know, Pablo will be there. Is that going to be a problem? And I replied, I'd do anything for Dan. So there's the full context.
I would say a bit of missing context is that Nick sucks up to Dan so hard that it's hard for me to parse when we are or aren't beefing. Because what I try to do is make sure that acquaintances can become friends and they can share in the, in the studio that, yes, Dan has fully fronted and paid for, but that I hope to return the value on over time.
I think you're doing a great job. Every
you.
time I'm asked about the podcast, I say Pablo's doing a great job. It's not the lane I swim in, but I think you're doing a great job, which is another one of the reasons I don't want to come on, because everyone understands in the media business there is filler and killer. So I feel like when I go on Dan's show, that segment that day that I do, I'm part of the killer. Like, hey, highlights of the show, if we did a after action report, one of the highlights would be the hit with Nick Wright was really good. When Pablo's entire motif of the show is Pablo Torre finds out we are getting the NFLPA guy fired, we're doing the scandal in the NBA. At some point, I'm sure we'll get to the really shady solitaire business all his colleagues were in, but I know that's happening later. Then the filler piece of it is Nick and Kevin Wilds hang out for a bit. I don't want to be like that. I'd rather be on Pablo's podcast where like, Nick, we're doing an investigation about you. And we have some questions to ask.
It's funny you request that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't want to spring in a manila folder open full of your poker history. I don't want to do that. The thing that I object to...
Because you don't have it, but go ahead. Yeah, please.
Well,
you're not daring him to find out about you, are you?
I was a dare. What I am saying is I have led my life from the creed of don't send this text, don't be in this room if you would not be okay with it being on the front page of the New York Times, and I stand by it. So yeah, I mean, I am as all of my vices, foibles, anything the public has seen. So I am a man without the skeleton. So yeah, you can do whatever you want.
He's also, though, self-aware enough and transparent about where his ego resides that he did just tell you to your face he's not filler. He's not someone who comes on to someone else's show so that you can have an easier show that day and get on to what it is that you do.
You actually want to do. You want to do investigations. But those take a lot of time.
I object to filler being the characterization of everything but the investigations. I love when my friends and acquaintances and new friends can come on the show and have a fun time. And I think that what Nick has done inadvertently is characterize the entirety of what is a non-investigative episode in our industry as filler. That is, you're referring to an entire genre of people talking as filler.
Well, but he is also telling you, I star or not at all. Like, I'm going to come in and be the showcase of your piece.
You did have a rhyming phrase to describe the philosophy, so I do understand.
Listen, I am not saying that all podcasts that are people chatting are filler. What I am saying is every podcast or media venture has an identity. And the identity of Pablo Torre Finds Out is that you are going to do investigations, you're going to be nominated but not win Peabodys, and you are going to do real journalism. That is I'm sure the lady who did Serial would be a sick hang. But if it's like, hey, in between figuring out what
Nick Wright
Adnan
become
did,
the good hang arbiter? How did Nick walk?
The good hang off.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that person, if they were like, hey, in between Adnan episodes, we'd love some LeBron takes, I'd be like, I think I'm going to pass. I don't think that's what your audience wants.
But I didn't ask for your LeBron takes. I think, look, I at the risk of being too real about this, I don't want to talk about my show this much, even though Nick had previously said in one of his very kind interviews with Dan that if he wanted to do journalism, he could do absolutely everything that I had been doing, which is a thing that's on tape if we want to play that at some point in the proceedings here.
I don't know what he's talking about, and he hasn't prepared our production staff for what that is, so they're not going to have it instantaneously.
That's fine. I'll just recreate it. Do I think that if I put all of my effort into doing what Pablo does, I could do it? Yes. Do I think that if Pablo tried to do what I do, he could? No. That's true.
I think that's one of the most...
it's arrogant, but
it's beyond arrogant. I think it misunderstands the lanes you're describing. Everybody tries to do what Nick does, and Nick is really, really good at it. He's really good at it. I think I'm pretty good at it. Whatever. PTI is a show that exists. I think I'm pretty good on it. All of which is to say that I would like Nick to show me. I do the thing that Nick does, and I do the thing that I do. Nick talks about wanting to do the thing, or not wanting, but if he were to hypothetically try.
No, but it's so... I have no interest.
But it's a take with no teeth. It sounds like you're a little afraid to try. I have been trying to do all of this stuff. I hang out with my friends, argue about sports. I investigate people in the Epstein files. Nick Wright, as far as I can tell, kind of does one of those things.
It sounds like someone says, hey, here's a crocheter. And I'm like, yeah, I think I probably could do that. They're like, why don't you? It's like, because I don't want to. I have no interest in it. I am not denigrating. By the way,
you just compared me to someone who crochets.
I just want to make this clear. I don't think it's easy what you do. I don't think the fact that I can do it is a testament to that it not being difficult. It's a testament to what I think my own ability and intelligences are. And again, I said this was going to get awkward, and I wouldn't.
I think the fact that you just called it a fact is a testament to what your skills are.
Jack.
What do you mean?
You said the fact that you could do it, and you entered that into the available evidence as if that is not a disputed characterization. And then you just steamrolled into whatever it is coming next.
You are saying that facts are not facts when you say they're facts. Pablo is accusing you of thinking that facts are not facts because you have said you simply can do what he can do. You have no proof of that. Before I go any further, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Who's a better hang, Nick Wright or Pablo Torre? And
I don't want this conversation to be the evaluation of my ability to hang. I'm embarrassed by no participation in this.
I need an independent arbiter here, please.
Amin's going to be on Pablo's side.
I would hope so.
Well, I just trying to figure out how we spent 15 minutes talking about this whole.
Did I miss it? Did I miss Jess's hit? Did we trade Tyler Hero yet? Did I miss that? Am I on time? Did it happen?
Where did he come from? I thought he was going to be yelling about Notre Dame earlier in the show. Where have you been?
I had a dance recital for my daughter, but I left early because I remembered Jess is on. I can't miss that.
All right, you can talk to Jess in a little while. You have not missed Jess.
She will give me nothing, but it'll be all right because I'm here.
Please, somebody send him out
Go
of the room
Canes!
so I can get back to the awkwardness between Nick and Pablo. I mean, you were saying before Mike thundered in, you thought this was a bad use of 15 minutes of our time, of Nick's time?
I won't lie. Like, the beginning, I thought, oh, this is a fun little bit, right? Yeah. Then I looked up, and it's 10:47, and we're still doing this? I mean, all right, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about other things that have happened in sports.
We've been doing it for months. Look, this is an interesting... The reason that we'll get back to sports in a second. Nick's got plenty on that subject. The reason that I find it interesting, though, is because you've got two of the best in the...
The Pirates and left-handed pitcher Gregory Soto are in agreement on a one-year, $7.75 million contract, sources tell ESPN. Soto, 30, had a 4.18 ERA in 70 appearances for the Orioles and the Mets last season.
You've got two of the best in the business, and they do very different things. And I believe that Pablo's a little bit insulted that Nick doesn't totally love the
back to
thing
Nick
that
and
Pablo
Pablo.
does.
No. It's not about whether Nick loves it. It's not about whether Nick loves it. It's whether Nick can do it if he really tried as hard as he possibly could.
And this is where, and again, this is where we probably, this is where we probably shouldn't go. But we're here, so I'll just land the plane. My argument would be, this is mean. We don't know whether or not I can do what you do. I think we do know that you can't do what I do.
That's not an answer. That is exactly what Nick does.
Sure.
I would say this. I would say in Nick's report card, I will do the crime of assigning myself, Dan, and you know how painful this is for me, to give myself a B+ in the sports hot take game.
They do great inflation at the Ivy League schools, don't they? They really do.
I will grant that is what my 13 years at ESPN has resulted in, is a B+, which is a horrifying concept to me. Nick can get an A, and you know what I would say? Nick is one of the best at making it seem like things that are not facts are facts. It's really a skill. And it's happened so many times in this conversation.
You take issue with the turn of phrase, the fact of the matter?
No. You said the fact that I could do it.
That's just okay. If you would prefer on the pod or on re-listens, just drop in opinion for where I say fact. Because you're right. I use the word liberally in conversation, not as if we were in court. And because I am not the style of investigative journalist you are. I have said that repeatedly. And if you are 100% correct that when I say the fact that I could is being fast and loose with that specific word, the belief that I could is what it is.
But I think this is everything you've said there, which I totally understand, and you're nuancing in such a way that gives you the ability to have your cake and eat it too, which is fine. What I'm saying is that you keep on saying that you could do it.
Yeah, I think
that is factually incorrect based on the available evidence. And I think that the idea of me answering the question with...
Now we're going to dive into it. What's the available evidence?
You've never reported a single thing in your life.
Okay, well, first of all, again, for Pablo Torre finds out, that's a little embarrassing.
So what's the thing you've reported if we're going to do the game of deep diving?
I mean,
report off.
Marlins 2016 fourth-round pick Sean Reynolds has signed with the Yokohama Bay Stars, per John Heyman.
Hold on, no. I'm gonna actually answer this, and then we can move on to more important things. Who is the only person in the country?
It was a little mean. It was a little mean. What I did. I'm sorry.
No.
Mean.
It wasn't mean. It was embarrassing, because who's the only person in the country who, when Adrian Peterson was about to skip on a no-build grand jury for beating his kid, had the police report, his audio-taped confession, every single piece of evidence, and his reporting led to them impaneling a new grand jury and his season-long suspension? The answer to that question is 28-year-old as a side project radio host in Houston, Nick Wright. So, again, is that the only reporting I've ever done? It actually might be. Was it a 10 out of 10 on impact, exclusivity, accuracy? Yes, of course. So does that inform the fact that I think if I actually made it my vocation, I'd be good at it? Yes. But your argument that the lack of evidence is evidence is quite ridiculous. Your argument that anybody...
That's not exactly the argument.
No, again, if you ran back the tape, my friend, it would be. The argument that anything that anyone has not done is evidence they can't do it, as opposed to a void of knowledge on whether they could do it, is just a logical fallacy. And so the point I'm making, if we're really diving into it, is I believe with a skosh of evidence that I could be a great investigative reporter. I am not interested in doing it. You seem to believe not even knowing my own investigative reportage history, which is not that hard to know. It's one story, and it was a pretty
How is
big
that
one.
logically consistent? It's not that hard to know. It's also literally one thing that happened when I was 28, which I believe is like 13 years ago.
I'm gonna stop you guys for just a second.
The Los Angeles Angels are acquiring infielder Vaughn Grisham in a trade with the Boston Red Sox, sources tell ESPN. Additionally, the Orioles matched the Phillies' offer to Kyle Schwarber. Reds were also at 5 years, so if the Cincinnati Reds add a hitter, it won't quite be at the level of Kyle Schwarber, but the Reds are not shopping in the bargain aisle just yet, Dan.
I am going to do something that I try not to do around here, just to include Nick in everything that's happening around here. Jeremy and the shipping container have a device they've been using to try and run me off of subject matter that I've been talking about for 10 minutes too long. The entire time you guys have been talking, I have been smiling at the genuine awkwardness of it, but also I've been getting running commentary in my ear from the shipping container and an exasperated Chris Cody who's wanted this to stop for 10 minutes. I trust the judgment of Pablo and Nick better than I trust that room's judgment, but they've been sitting here.
Closer Kyle Finnegan and the Detroit Tigers are in agreement on a 2-year, $19 million contract.
Give
pending
me the
physical.
commentary from the room so that Pablo and Nick can get your assessment of this segment, which is good. I don't care what you
the
guys
last
think.
10 minutes felt like at Radio Row when Gary Vee and Rob Riggle just talked to each other
Oh,
for
I
10 minutes
remember
on our
that.
show.
That was
They
fun.
were on
You're
as
still
guests.
talking about that great interview from how many years ago because of how good it was.
Oh, just enough, guys. Jesus.
Let's move on to sports topics.
Thank God.
I think I'd rather hang with Nick.
Oh, yeah, he seems like
How
a great man.
surprising. How surprising.
That's just a Rorschach test for what you enjoy. Of course, Pablo's a great hang
It's a
for certain
Rorschach
groups.
test.
I'm a great hang for certain groups.
You're both great hangs.
The Rorschach
Neither
off.
one of you better than the other. Better than the other. Get the still images, please, of Nick earlier this week, giving the people what they want, which is his national and international tiers. Were you brought in on a gurney? What happened?
I was brought in on a gurney. Then I pulled out a Newport 100 and tried to smoke it, and Wilds correctly said on the air, I think that's been frowned upon on television for 50 years. And so
This is the man you bring into my studio.
yeah, that's uncalled for, guys. That's
This is the journalistic objectivity you bring into my studio.
no journalistic objectivity, just entertaining on TV. And so that's where I said the Chiefs have done me a favor, because if the audience, as the last 20 minutes might be evidence of, I can be a little pompous and grating. I know it'll shock people. So seeing me beaten down like that and defeated, I think humanizes me in a way the audience appreciates. So that's another favor that my hometown team did for me.
But
I see.
But you're hurting. You're rarely this attached to a
buddy,
take.
I'm hurting, and in every way possible, and it has been so financially devastating that my wife was in Miami this weekend for Art Basel. My daughter had a sleepover. Dropped her off at her friend's house around 1. So Saturday. I'm like, I
That's
have
the
a
good stuff
free
right there.
12 hours. I drove to Philly and then tried to crowdsource via Twitter a high-stakes card game to try to come back up. But all the high-stakes players in Philly are down in the Bahamas for the big tournaments. So I just sat in a kind of depressing medium-stakes game for 12 hours made some money and drove back home that
You've
night.
done this a couple of times, though. I don't believe that whatever the financial costs of this were hurt you as much as the emotion of it hurts to be this invested in a team, this invested in being right, and having Patrick Mahomes fail you with the worst performance we've ever seen from him.
It sounds like a man that hasn't lost consecutive weeks of $20,000 money line bets, Dan.
So I have it wrong. It's money and
it's
not
all of the above. I don't know how to untie it. Like, every time the Chiefs win, I feel great and I win money. And every time they lose, I feel awful and I lose money. So those two emotions are so wrapped in themselves that I don't know what one would feel like without the other. So it's just a whole collection of suck. And then I find myself in this perverse place where a team whose fans have in person for 6 months heckled me at restaurants, and when I'm out, when I'm with my family, Eagles fans, I have to root for them on Monday night to beat the Chargers for the Chiefs' playoff path. And then the quarterback, who despite him beating Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I'm like, I don't really believe in Jalen Hurts. I watch him prove me right in a way that damages my team. It's been awful. It's been truly awful, which is maybe why I'm lashing out.
It just seems to me, though, like you've had a 3-year run at a craps table and are now complaining that you're finally 7 out. Like, you've been yelling.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying you asked me, and it's painful.
I just can't imagine how much money you've won over the last 3 years that has made you this emotionally invested in everything that's happened, because you continue to be right about this team except for 1 or 2 bets over the last 3 years.
No. That part is true, but like any of those great runs at the craps table, they usually press their bet the more they're winning, which is why it's hard to walk away a huge winner, because even if you win 80% of your bets, the bets you lose at the end usually cut into a lot of that. But again, I'm fine financially. My money management plan has always been the same. I'll just make more money next year, and it'll be fine. It is a lot of just the pain of them being the team I love, plus the shame of the certainty that I had that this team was great as of 5 weeks ago, and the money, all of it sucks.
So Mike Ryan has rushed into the studio.
The Miami Marlins, progressing in their efforts to trade right-hander Edward Cabrera, are talking with the Baltimore Orioles, among other clubs, according to Ken Rosenthal, and I happen to know that that's true.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come everyone, come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
I happen to know that the Marlins are trying to trade Edward Cabrera over Sandy Alcantara. Zaz, you don't know anything about happening to know about that. You don't know about the Marlins. You're not a reporter.
Okay, well, first of all, to come out and say
this guy's not a journalist. It's ridiculous.
Okay, it's really difficult to argue with someone who talks like that, okay?
Oh, you think it's going to take sounding like that?
I can beat you with this voice, too. I can beat you in any argument.
Okay, now you're definitely
no matter
screwed.
what I'm doing, I'm going to beat you.
Now you're screwed.
This is ridiculous, Zaz.
Now,
There's no way that you
now
can...
you got a big problem. Because no one can understand what you're saying. And if no one can understand what you're saying, you don't have a chance to win an argument with anyone. No one takes you seriously anyway. And now you sound like Minnie Mouse. No one wants to hear from you.
That guy over there.
Wow, big ahead.
It's Big Ahead.
Zaz, Nick Wright texted me that you're an all-time dope the other day based
Sup,
on...
Nick?
He said it was on the record because...
Yeah, because...
I don't have to explain when I'm on the record. Everything that comes out of this mouth's on the record, all right? I don't play any games here.
Your take was just... I can't understand. Can we go back to the other voice? I can't understand that one. No! Your take was that Bron hoped the shot missed, which under certain contexts would make sense, but of course makes no sense under the exact context that play happened, which was he has 8 points, it's a tie game, there's 4 seconds left, and he has the ball. So if he wanted to keep the streak alive, All he had to do was shoot the ball, because if he makes it, the streak stays alive, and if he misses it, they go to overtime, and the streak will stay alive. The mere fact, I hope I used that correctly, Pablo, that he passed means that he was putting winning ahead of the streak by definition. And you're a real dope if you can't just follow the natural linear progression of time to understand that.
Nick, he was 4 for 17 in the game. You act like he was out there and he was 3 for 5, and he decided at the end of the game to pass. He was 4 for 17, like he wasn't trying to get double figures. He was 4 for 17.
What is this? What the hell's going on?
That's Oh, you know what you should pull instead of to defend the mean there?
Mad Dog?
You guys can probably pull it. Mad Dog. My guy, but I mean, that is my guy, but Mad Dog should not have allowed that to be filmed.
Would have been a nice setup for them to, like,
I mean, this Mad Dog's an all-timer, but how do you
shot?
let this get filmed?
Oh, dog.
Dog.
I mean, how
Nail the ball
do you allow
It's just
that
the
to
aftermath.
be filmed?
Just the aftermath.
Dog's on the IR now. Come on.
It looks fine
I
up
mean-
until the aftermath. Oh, God.
The best part is that he
He's
charged
hurt.
up for it.
He injured himself on that?
No.
Is that his version of a crow hop?
It's interesting that he crossed over. You don't usually see a crossover before half-court shot.
Wait a minute. He
crow hop.
did injure himself and then hobbled off. Wait a, let me watch that whole thing again, because the dribbling was terrible and then it got worse. How does it get worse after the dribbling? The dribbling was terrible.
The dribbling might have been the worst part, bro.
Oh no. Oh, double dribble.
Clear double, yeah.
Oh.
Hold on.
And then
Also-
he staggers off.
Terrible camera work.
I
dude,
started
being
my
honest.
law practice specifically for instances like this. This is viral decontextualization, folks. This guy has one bad moment on camera. All of a sudden, we're going to just paint his entire athletic experience with just that one moment. Mad Dog, you don't have to fall for it. The
What
good
happened
people.
to Amin's wrist? Why does
That's a great
why does it
question.
go that way?
We don't need to relitigate.
My investigation on that is
I did a whole
ongoing.
video on West 4th Street about this.
We're going to throw it back to Miami here in a second. Our thanks to Nick Wright for stopping by. We will continue this awkwardness with Pablo at a later date. But Jessica, Mike, you got something for
have to?
Jessica? You got something for Jessica?
She's got nothing for me. We all know what this is going to be like trying to draw blood from a stone, but I am thrilled to be here.
The moment we have all been waiting for, Amin.
Tony's top 10?
No, we'll get to that. That's
Top 5.
coming. Don't you worry. We'll get to Tony. But we have all been waiting with bated breath. Today's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. All right.
What took her so long?
The
She's here every
selection
week at
show
Wednesday.
was Sunday.
Chris, are you still the EP?
And she's finally here. There she
Because-
is.
Why didn't you guys just have me come in on Monday? I've gone through all 5 stages of grief now. I'm on to acceptance. That you do this every time.
Damn it.
After the Northern Illinois game last year, I wasn't in on Monday for some reason. This year, we know the selection show Sunday. You have me in 3 days. I've had 3 nights to sleep on this.
Why didn't we book her for the first step of the grieving process? I'm here on step 5. Oh.
Why is Lucy here?
I'm Mabel.
Maple syrup?
Oh, from Only Murders. I get it.
All right, Jess. Look, none of us have spoken to you. I've gotten text messages from friends. I've gotten messages on Twitter. I'm at Zazzle Show. I'm a great follow. And people are asking me, where is Jess? I want Smetana's tears. So let's start out with this, okay? Sunday, set us the scene. How did you experience Sunday afternoon?
I could not believe that after all of these years of fandom that I put into this thing, Baby Lando was the driver's championship of the 2025 Formula One season. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out. It was incredible. Thank you for asking.
Oh, this is a good. I've reprogrammed my brain to know that she's never going to give me anything. So when she does something like that, it's better than tears, honestly. Jess, I think your AD is actually knocking it out the park in terms of Bavakwa's doing a great job in making Golden Domers happy. Yesterday, probably.
Is he?
He's making Notre Dame fans
they
happy.
like the way he has represented himself in the school.
I think it plays. I think Notre Dame fans are going to just dig their heels in more now. I think they feel like ESPN. Thank you, Danny. Not GQ. Danny B. That's who I am, Zaz. And I mean, I think they're just Notre Dame fans already know everyone hates Notre Dame. I don't think this people are like, well, Notre Dame gave up the 1 hour of sympathy we were going to give them. It's like, oh, you mean people are going to not like my football team now?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never felt that before.
Yeah, I think of all the options, at least given his fan base a pound of flesh, because they have several rights to be upset here. Upset with the process, upset with Greg Sankey and the SEC's influence over it. But I think Pete was smart in seizing on the ACC thing, which, trust me, I've listened to all the content out there, Jess, including your interview on Echoes with Pete Bavacqua.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it. Look, all this content is great tent. Irish Breakdown for me, that was the best one because they were legit pissed off.
That guy's angry.
Yeah, he was angry. But I think in a distant third, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, a distant third was the ACC shouldn't have sent out those mean tweets. And I think Pete has seized on that one thing, given his fan base a pound of flesh, and that is something that he can win because nobody minds punching at Jim Phillips. No one respects him.
Yeah, I think that, to me personally, this is where I think I diverge with Pete Bavacqua. I thought the tweets were honestly a little embarrassing given just how the ACC they have no followers on Twitter. If you look at their account, it has 90,000. It has less followers than me, and I have deleted Twitter from my phone for the last month. Versus the SEC, which has over 1 million, I'm pretty sure. So their kind of pathetic attempt to
the ACC has 93,000 followers on
bad.
Twitter.
That's really bad. To
That's
Jess's
pretty
point.
bad. Again, it's fewer than me, and I don't use Twitter very much anymore. So I kind of thought the ACC thing. I understand why the money people are mad. That's kind of what he implied on our podcast.
The SEC has 798,000 followers.
So, anyways, I think that the money people are mad. I think the people that are in the room with the ACC administrators when they negotiate and all of that, it seems like those are the people that are mad, and Pete Bavacqua was wearing it. I don't think that that's the central issue that anyone has with any of this. I think that's just the big headline because obviously it ties into the Notre Dame conference independence conversation, which we're constantly having. I think the bigger issue is the weekly rankings shows. I think that that's something that, if Notre Dame had not been ranked 9th throughout most of the season, continued to win, and were left out in the final ranking, they are going to play in a bowl game. I don't think any of this goes down the way that it went down Sunday. So I think that that's where the frustration is. But I also think that's something that isn't unique to Notre Dame fans. I think, Mike, you've been saying all season, and Dan has been saying all season, what a farce the Tuesday shows are, and how you listen to the spokesperson for the committee talk, and the more they talk, the less you really have faith in what the actual process is.
Oh, 1,000%. The logic that he gave for Alabama leaping Notre Dame in the penultimate episode,
right,
which was just getting over the line over a 5-7 Auburn team because it was a rivalry game and because they went for it a couple of times.
Gutsy, yeah.
I think the real injustice here is that I do think Notre Dame kind of got caught. They were in the awkward situation because everything that I sampled, no one was that comfortable arguing that Notre Dame should be in over Miami. A lot of the things that I heard was they should both be in. And they kind of got caught with their pants down a little bit because in the penultimate rankings, they were still ahead of Miami. They've been led to believe for a month that head-to-head wasn't going to matter, when really they should have spent that month campaigning against the likes of Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Alabama, because I truly believe Notre Dame to be a better team than those. But this was positioned because of how unjust disregarding head-to-head was as Miami Notre Dame, and by the time Saturday rolled around, you had Nick Saban, Kirk Herbstreit, Urban Meyer, everyone kind of coming out aligned saying Miami should be in if that's the case.
But that's where not playing in a conference kind of factors in, because no one's going to advocate for Notre Dame other than the athletics director and, Marcus Freeman and things like that, which I do want to say one caveat. I think that it's kind of lame that we've all accepted public campaigning as part of the college football playoff selection committee. And I just don't Like that shouldn't be a thing. I don't know. You can't obviously avoid going on the internet or watching ESPN if you're on the committee, but I do think that is part of the thing that's like, okay, why
does it
cool
work?
with this?
It shouldn't
Why-
work.
Yeah.
That's why
But
I was
anyways,
annoying everybody for a month, because I knew, like, every time I was like, is this
Well, that's
tweet too
not
much?
why.
No,
You
it,
would've done
Yeah,
it
that's
anyways.
why for
no,
sure.
no, that is 100% why. No, I swear to God, no, that matters, and it's honestly like a blight on the entire system that stuff like that matters. Bullying works. We've seen public pressure. Getting your message out there influences those that have more influence.
Yeah, I think that's where being independent factors in, where you're not going to have your conference, like, Greg Sankey does a great job of, and with the help of ESPN, their partner, making the SEC games that are not big games feel like big games, right? Like they're able to prop up like a Missouri-Oklahoma game and be like, this was the big game this weekend. I think Notre Dame understands that that's like the cost of doing business if you want to stay independent. So,
Jess, why does Bevacqua think that he has a leg to stand on when it comes to being critical of the ACC in this spot?
I think because he feels that Notre Dame is a good financial partner for ACC. They have the 5-game scheduling agreement, and he said in his press conference yesterday, ACC games on average sell out 23% of the time. When Notre Dame plays in them, they sell out 90% of the time. So it's his belief and Notre Dame's belief that they help the ACC make a lot of money, even though they're not full members.
But wouldn't the ACC benefit more from Miami or any other team in their conference making the postseason than Notre Dame?
Yeah, they'll actually get money from Miami making the postseason. Notre Dame got to keep all of the money that they made last year in their postseason run, which was $20 million reportedly. It's a lot of money. So yes, absolutely. And I think that this is this is where I think less of the issue is with the ACC and more of the issues with the College Football Playoff Committee, because when they expanded to the 12-team playoff, the thought process was, okay, we're finally going to get the 12 best teams, right? Like, we're finally going to get teams that can actually compete for a national championship. And I think it's very hard to argue that at the end of the season, Alabama is a team that can compete for a national championship. And it does fly in the face of something that was argued on Alabama's behalf in 2023 when Florida State was left out, which was, how are these teams playing at the end of the season? Well, Alabama's playing well. Florida State lost their quarterback. So that was really important 2 years ago. And now it's not as important in this ranking. And it's once again helped an SEC team get in. So I think that's why there's frustration with the process and with ESPN. And the fact that, like Mike said, like, you could have flipped Notre Dame and Miami last Tuesday after they both played their 12th game. And I think everyone would have been like, okay, well, Miami went 10-2. Didn't know if that would happen. Notre Dame went 10-2. Now we look at the 10-2s and we look at the 2s, and Miami beat Notre Dame, and that, they should be ahead of Notre Dame. And I think that a lot of people would have accepted that at that point. But instead, Alabama moved up after beating Auburn, and then ultimately got destroyed in their conference championship game. The most lopsided conference championship game this past weekend. Didn't even go below Miami, who I believe, if by the committee's own logic, they should have. Miami should have had the higher seed in the playoff because they actually beat Florida State this year. And I think, ultimately, this is just a really, once again, an instance of a SEC team getting in that doesn't really have the best resume at the end of the season.
They rigged the game by moving Alabama up, I feel, because if Miami clears the Notre Dame hurdle, as you suggested in the penultimate episode, then everyone's viewing that SEC title performance with -3 rushing yards by Alabama as a direct comparison, Alabama-Notre Dame, instead of the cluster conversation that we were having. But it's also why Pete Bevacqua is very smart in changing the narrative around the ACC, because the problem here is Greg Sankey's influence over the College Football Playoff Committee. But Bevacqua's not going after Greg Sankey.
No, Notre Dame has scheduling agreements with a number of SEC teams over the next 12 years. I think doing business with the SEC is good for Notre Dame. So, yes, Mike, to your point, he specifically in his press conference yesterday said that he was texting Greg Sankey over the weekend, and he is a friend of his. So, yeah, I think you're not going to – I think what the ACC did when they were tweeting about Miami and Notre Dame was they picked a battle that they thought they could win, because Notre Dame is not going to really fight back. They're not, they lost the game to Miami. I mean, let's be frank. They lost in week 1. And I think that the ACC doesn't feel like they can pick a battle against the SEC and win. I think the ACC doesn't have a firm leg to stand on when their conference championship game is between 7-5 Duke and 10-2 Virginia. So I think that like they picked a battle they thought they could win. They ultimately won it, pissed off one of their partners. Whether or not they care about that remains to be seen. Whether or not anything really comes of it remains to be seen.
But Jess, it was overly sensitive. If you see the tweets in question, especially from a 90,000 followed account, like they're just touting head to head. In fact, like I heard a lot of podcasts saying they didn't take shots at Alabama. Yes, they did. They touted Miami's resume against Alabama too. I think like from the replay,
it was also replaying the game nonstop on ACC
why not?
Network.
Like it almost felt like Notre Dame was trying to like the position after the fact, and their anger was kind of directed like shame on you for shining light on the head to head matchup, which was kind of BS. Like every Notre Dame, even BS. you, even you, Jess, like on some of your content, like you never argued that Notre Dame should be over Miami. It was kind of like, well, let's just see. Like I heard the Shane Gillis interview. Like I was kind of hoping they were going to screw Miami because I never felt comfortable making that argument. And I just think that this is more a Greg Sankey problem. He's talking to Hunter Yurachek, who's an AD of a school that's in his conference every day. And I think that you guys got boned by how this all played out. But I also think it's kind of soft to be punching down on Jim Phillips. What did you make of Brett Yormark's comments yesterday?
I think that it is it's sad that it's punching down on a conference commissioner from one school's AD. I think that tells you everything you need to know about that. And yeah, Brett Yormark, he's obviously going to pick a popular side and try to make himself look good in all this. I don't care what he says about Pete Bavacqua. That's his opinion. That's fine.
Jessica, were you aware of the arrangement that Notre Dame has starting next year where they automatically get in if they're in the top 12?
It was gently reported on a few months back in The Athletic, I believe, and then I saw Ross Dellinger posted about it again. We asked Pete Bavacqua about it on our podcast, The Echoes. I saw Tony making fun of our podcast on Instagram earlier.
Me?
I do want to say my application to be a co-host on the crossover with Keon Dooling was denied. So this is the best I could do, Tony.
Guess why?
This podcast with Gojo.
Notre Dame fan. Keon doesn't like that.
Yeah. But I don't even remember your question. The memorandum of understanding.
About the automatic bid, being top 12.
Yeah, they still have to get into the top 12, which means they're probably going to have 10 or 11 wins on the season.
And aren't you worried that there might be guardrails against that? Like they'll just like say, well, like if this season played out the same way, like, well, then we'll just put BYU there. If we really don't want Notre Dame, you can just rig the game a little bit. And even Pete was like, well, it's an understanding. It's implied, but they can do whatever they want with the top 12.
That's not exactly what he said. What he said was it's a memorandum of understanding, not a memorandum of sorta understanding. So I think that, I think that is not necessarily an outcome that they would anticipate and expect. But yeah, I mean, who knows? This would still mean that Notre Dame has to be ranked in the top 12, which is not a given in any year. So they still have to be at least, somewhat worthy of a playoff spot to even be in the conversation for that.
Jessica, how long did Gojo practice his serious face here on this picture?
I mean,
you know he does not have a serious face that comes naturally. This is
work. You guys love doing like facial analysis of our podcast.
Yes.
Did you pose for this, or was this taken like,
No,
an
these
action
are just
shot?
like screenshots.
Jess, when you're so effective at not giving us a suffering, we're going to try to find it wherever we can. And we found it in Mike Golick Jr.'s Charles Barkley, we need to start a dialogue face.
I don't know. He kind of looks like he's doing like a little bit of a model blue steel thing. I think he looks good.
No, I didn't say he doesn't look good. I'm just saying he does not own that
trying not
face.
to laugh at how silly this entire thing is.
You do look like you're on the verge of cracking right here.
Yeah. Anyways.
So a lot of the national story outside of the ACC Notre Dame stuff is Notre Dame opting out of the Pop-Tart Bowl. Jess, you have an ally with me here. I think that bowl game is ridiculous.
Oh, you're nuts.
No, you're not going to talk down on the Pop-Tart Bowl.
This is the worst thing ever.
I like Pop-Tarts. I happen to like them.
May I speak? May I speak? I shut up late. Let me get a shot up. All right? I didn't want to be in that Pop-Tart Bowl last year because I was shut out. I understand. And to go to a Pop-Tart Bowl that just makes fun of the teams that are in it, ridiculous.
Mike,
ridiculous.
I knew you were gonna say this.
And as Jess, remember the narrative around the Pop-Tart Bowl last year. I had a month's worth of editorials and talking heads teeing off on Cam Ward because he had the gall, the temerity to sit out a half.
Sit out. Yeah, I know. I think that I'm a huge fan of the bowl games. I love the bowl games. The bowl games are some of my favorite times in the sports calendar. I personally don't think that Notre Dame opting out of the Pop-Tart Bowl spells the end of bowl games as we know them. I think that that's an overreaction. And B, I don't think it's a moral failing to not play in the Pop-Tart Bowl. The game is still going on. I think the way that I've seen people react to this is like the Pop-Tart Bowl's been canceled. But Amin, you should be psyched now because Georgia Tech gets to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
No, we were going to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl anyway. It's BYU that came in and said
no, it's
I mean,
ACC,
that's cute.
No, that's not true. That's ridiculous.
ACC Big 12, yeah. But that, I mean, like, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. I think that, like, if you're like, oh, Notre Dame, a bunch of losers are going to take their bat and ball and go home, like, okay, that's fine. I think that they just had to decide within like an hour of finding out they weren't in the playoff. And I think that the risk reward of playing in a bowl game is entirely up to your players and your team and the play. If I would say if the athletic director or Marcus Freeman made the choice for the players, I would be like, I don't know about that. Like if the players want to play in the game, you should probably let them play in the game. But we asked Pete Pavagua on the show whose decision it was, and it was a player-driven decision. And I think the risk reward is just not really there.
I wasn't crazy about that
for a bowl game.
I wasn't crazy about how quick they were, and even if it were true, like,
hey, you think it's true?
Even if it were true, that decision came down pretty quick. I'm sure they had a meeting. It might be. Let's just say it is. I don't want to call them liars.
I don't have any reason to believe that it's not.
I don't want to call them liars. Even if that is so, even if it was solely the player's decision, I thought it was kind of the bull as to put it all on the player. I think that was the bullshit. You come out and you go on that line with your players. We discussed it internally. The administration, the coaches, and the players all decided. I didn't like how they put it on the team captains whatsoever.
I don't think that's putting it on the team captains. I think it's the opposite. I think it's like we trust our team captains and we give them agency in making decisions about like putting their bodies on the line in a bowl game.
Spin zone.
Mike, I mean, I think like this show in particular is one that I would say more often than not takes the side of player agency and player empowerment. Maybe that's wrong. So
not now though.
Not when it's Notre Dame. No. Like I said, even if it were so, I would like to see a little bit more alignment in every interview. It was quick to put it on the team captains. I
think it's way worse if the athletic director's like, we want to stick it to ESPN because they screwed it.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't put it solely on the players.
I think the worst case scenario is Notre Dame plays in the Pop-Tart Bowl and CJ Carr tears his ACL. And now we don't have to find out if that'll happen. So I think as a fan, you're like, I'm torn about it. Like if it were up to me, I would probably want to play in the bowl game, and I like to watch the football games. Like I said, I'd like to watch them have another game, and now the season's over, so I think that sucks. But I also don't think that it's quite as big of a deal as a lot of people are making it out to be, because it is a bowl game. Like the other comparison I've seen to Florida State, who got totally screwed in 2023, is like, well, then they played in their bowl game even though half of their team opted out. That was the Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the Pop-Tart Bowl. We don't have a New Year's Six bowl option for teams that don't make the playoff anymore.
I agree.
The Pop-Tart Bowl is like the premier bowl if you don't make the playoff. That's why it was going to be Notre Dame and BYU.
It's a great game.
And
if you were,
I don't think
it was one of my favorite games ever.
The players that grow up in this era do not remember a time when the bowls had importance. I would also add that.
Oh, I'm psyched. I'm psyched that you're
doing
this.
Fun side thing for most of these players' lives. And I think that if they don't want to play in it, then that's fine.
I'm psyched you're doing this because the Notre Dame brand is such that it calls to attention the whole bowl system right now, which I think needs incredible reform. Again, I'm down with Notre Dame's decision there. I'd like to thank you for being a good sport. Check out the Echoes podcast with Mike Golick Jr. and Jessica Smetana. They had Pete Pavagua on. I think Pete Pavagua was really good. And I liked your Marcus Freeman. Like, you didn't lead with a Marcus Freeman question there, but it sounds like Pete knows that he has to drop a bag on Marcus Freeman, as he alluded to in your interview, trying to make him one of the highest paid coaches in the sport. We have that comment from Pete Bavacqua. We've had some reporting saying, I think Pete Sampson said Marcus Freeman will be back in 2026. Yet if you look at some sports books, Marcus Freeman is the odds-on favorite to take over the New York Giants head coaching
Notre
job.
Dame was also a favorite to make the playoffs.
Minus 3,000.
So I don't know if I'm going to trust the sports book with human decisions, Mike. I would say this. If Marcus Freeman leaves, I know a head coach who's available. He has experience coaching at a high level. He's the winningest head coach in Notre Dame history. That's right. Brian Kelly, come on down.
And his family.
Jess, tell everyone again where they could catch your recent talk with Pete Bavacqua.
With the serious faces.
Yes, it's a very serious podcast. Look, I will say, we were the only podcast the Notre Dame athletic director went on this week. We had podcast exclusivity. So proud of me and Mike for doing this show. Didn't
he go on Dan Patrick?
I mean, are we differentiating like that
That's a
between
TV
radio
show.
and podcast?
Okay, we're doing that. We're
Everything's a podcast now, Jess.
All right, whatever.
He's starting his own, Bavacqua and Company.
I'm still proud of us for getting the interview.
No, that
guys.
was
It's
good.
a
No,
brand new podcast.
That was a big deal.
I've sampled it all. Your interview with Bavacqua was my favorite. Wow. I will admit that. No, I'm telling you. And it was level-headed.
Of all the podcasts.
And if you're listening, for some tiers, I think Jess gave you like more emotion in that moment than
Well,
any
it was
other
Monday,
platform ever.
guys. It was Monday. Like, this is the thing. It's like you wait until Wednesday. It's like, all right, kind of moved on. I'm working on my Christmas baking situation now. I also want to say, hey, shout out to Miami electing a Democratic mayor. I heard last night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good job, Billy Corbin,
That's a big day.
All 21,000 votes. We did it. That's how you win
Hey,
one.
the Cubans switched over. Shout out the Cubans.
Hell yeah.
Shout
Well,
out to
I know you all.
14%
I know
turnout.
you all voted for him.
Yeah, well, we were in.
It's not City of Miami.
Yeah,
so-
it's
Broward boy.
It's not even
over
a real.
here.
It's not even a real government.
Jess, excellent job. We're sorry to the audience that was hoping to drink your tears. Nonetheless, excellent appearance.
I once again, they only have you guys to blame. Next time, switch it to Monday.
You gonna rock this outfit
Chris.
the rest of the day? What are you thinking?
I think I look better as a brunette than I expected.
Uh-oh.
I definitely think you would not have given us anything on Monday.
Well, now you'll never know.
See you, Jess.
There's always
Go
next year.
Canes.
There you go.
I think that was fun, and I'm really deeply appreciative of our director cutting away from her about to put the U upside down. Oh, I'm so happy this happened to them.
Oh, man. This is Bavacqua.
I listened. You guys traded Tyler Hero. I'm happy for that. Yeah. Well, you stopped short. But look, no one on South Florida radio has been telling the truth since 1983 like this guy. And I've been right about damn near everything about this franchise over the last 3 years. That guy needs to go.
I saw Windhorst came out, and Windhorst claims that Tyler Hero has screwed up Kello Ware and Jaime Jaquez's, quote, mojo.
I saw that too. What a report by Wendy.
Quote, Ware and Jaquez had bigger roles before Hero came back and playing great. Since that has happened, in addition to the league catching up, them two have lost their mojo.
Jeremy's saying that's not a report back here.
Well, the in addition is doing a lot of lifting there. The league caught up.
Jeremy, you have to, you're just like,
Come
okay,
on,
the last
dude.
6 games
This
with
played
Hero,
out exactly
they've
how we
looked
said.
different, but it's not here. Like, you got to just acknowledge it hasn't looked good since Hero's been back.
It hasn't looked good since Hero's been back outside of the time that they scored 140 points and the starting lineup took a 20-0 lead yesterday. Like, the lineup has been good.
15-0.
The bench has really struggled, and that's a matter of several different players. I was saying to Amin during a break, I personally think that what they should be able to do is have Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero playing more with the second unit, because if the two of them are able to play with the second unit, then that means you'd be able to have what's happening? Will you be able
to have ultimately
the ability to see
Khalil Ware play a little bit more with the starters, which is where he really was thriving earlier in the season. And when Khalil Ware
was more engaged,
Right? Like, he's able to be engaged with that starting unit. If you get him going early,
that's when you know you'll be able to have more success with him. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are guys who can play with
several different kinds of players. So if they're playing off of one another with that second
unit, it might be able to help fix some of what's been going on. Wait, Lucy's here?
I like Force Ghost Jeremy the best. I was like, oh, I'm having a vision. Yeah, like look, Killer Ware, his problems are his consistency. I don't think that's a Tyler Hero thing. I think that's a Killer Ware thing. Jaquez, look, man, that's one of those things. You know how they talk about Miami? You guys always think your guys are better than they actually are. Jaquez is one of those to me. He's just, I'm like, every time I watch him play, I'm like, I didn't like that.
He was a former reigning MVP of the day.
Yeah, and he could be a 2-time if he has another great game one night. No telling that he can't win it again.
Guys, this is the most obvious thing in the world. It's been staring at you for 3 seasons. And I know he had an unbelievable bubble run where he kind of introduced himself to the NBA inside that bubble, but the Miami Heat go on these runs. The Miami Heat go on these runs without Tyler Hero. The Miami Heat seem to do just fine without their all-star. I understand he's a talented scorer, but for this system, under this head coach, he's a luxury that they don't really need. And I think he stands in the way of real progress for this franchise. And lucky for the Miami Heat, I do think he has value.
Mike, I mean, I'm a little confused here. Are you implying like there's some circles or corners of at least Miami Heatdom where they're like, not Tyler Hero, he's a keeper?
Yeah,
I've never heard
that in that corner.
Man, he's not allowed to talk about
That's
that.
not quite what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to discuss where it really
bathroom?
works for
This group, right? Like, with this group, having Tyler Hero is, in some ways,
It's
a luxury
redundant.
offensively. There
are redundancies there that exist within the way that this roster is constructed. But if you're going to take advantage of the roster that exists, you need to be able to figure out rotationally where to stagger which players. And ultimately, like, having Tyler run that second unit, it hides some of the issues that Jaime Jaquez has been having, right? Like, he's been best in the open court when your defense is playing well and getting out in transition. Well, the defense hasn't been able to stop anybody with the second unit. They're missing a lot of open shots. And when that happens, the thing that he's able to do in getting to the rim in the open court, it becomes
a much bigger problem, and Tyler's able to fix some of those things offensively.
Trista Crick, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome.
It also feels like his best situation is being a great asset as a trade piece, right? Because you look across the league and you're like, all right, who's somebody that can fill a very good void of contract, of playing style for a bad team if you want to get, cap space on the books, or trade for a great player that somebody else will take and be like, yeah, I'll take him.
That's all he's been the whole time since he signed that deal. It was just like, this is the guy that you throw into a deal. Whether it was Damian Lillard, whether it was Kevin Durant, now it's Giannis. That's all.
Ja.
That's why I'm a little confused. Mike is like, oh, I told you about Tyler Hero. Nobody out here talking about he's a keeper like that.
You're right, but the narrative has shifted some as the data points start to mount up. Look, he's a nice scorer. I think that there are certainly teams in the NBA that his skill set is required and needed if they want to advance. I just don't think it's down here. I'll do the Colin Cowherd hand.
He's a great number 3.
Tyler Hero. We're good, bro.
Can I tell you what took place real quick while we were talking to Jessica there, as Amin got very distracted? Amin, dare I say Amin was shook, all right?
I was.
Now, you guys know I'm going to Washington, D.C. this weekend. I'm going to Saturday night's main event. John Cena's last match this Saturday night is in the nation's capital.
You cash some stocks and bonds?
Don't you worry, all right? Stop counting what's in my pocket. So I'm going on Saturday. And ESPN's doing all kinds of promotions. So on First Take moments ago, they had Gunther in studio with them. Gunther is facing John Cena in his last match this Saturday.
Is that a marquee matchup? I thought the last one would be like going out with some fireworks.
No, it's good.
I don't know that fool.
It's good. You don't have to know him.
In his last act, or presumed last act, will John Cena finally put someone over?
So I think it's a big deal. I like it. Gunther was in studio. Great. They flashed on the screen. Now, this is kind of old news because Stephen A. Smith debuted this a few months ago, like at the beginning of WWE and ESPN's partnership, which began over the summer. And Amin was shook when they flashed across the screen Stephen A. Smith's top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Now, guys, I am a wrestling outsider, maybe even an enemy of wrestling, according to some people. But I looked at his list, and I said, that can't be right. This has to be a typo.
It's an embarrassment of a list.
Or something. Should we reveal the whole list or just go right to number 1?
No, you just say number 1.
Guess. I want a guess from you guys.
I have experience with Stephen A's top 5 list when it comes to wrestling.
It's horrific.
Did they rehash it?
Yeah.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it? Did this person play for the Atlanta Falcons at one point?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Goldberg.
Yeah, number 1.
Goldberg sucks.
And it's not
Number one?
It's not Stephen A. Smith's all-time favorite wrestlers. It's Stephen A. Smith's greatest wrestlers of all time.
On the Stephen A. front, I heard one of his rants yesterday. I caught it on social media. The name Pete Bavacqua was made to come out of that mouth with disdain. I mean, Bavacqua. Yeah. It is.
Has it overtaken Racho Nesterovic?
Tiago Splitter. It's in the class. Bavacqua.
Slava Medvedenko.
Tony, I heard you got a top 5 for us today.
I've got my official top 5, Zaz. And Tony's Top 5 is presented by Smirnoff, the official vodka sponsor of the National Football League. Smirnoff, please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company. New York, New York. Vodka, 40% alcohol by volume. No OLIs today. We're going to go straight to the top 5. Number 5. I love the annual Bills versus Bengals snow game. It always delivers. There's something about it. You see those two teams, except the last time when, obviously something happened in the middle of the field that wasn't snowing that day. But every time they played in the snow, it's been a game that's delivered.
I've never in my life, I mean, look, I've lived here in South Florida my entire life. I've never been to a cold weather football game. Like, I can't imagine sitting in the stands for 3 and because it's not like you're moving around, staying warm. You're just standing in the snow for 3.5 hours.
Something you're forgetting.
You're hammered.
Yeah. You need to drink a lot at the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl to not feel it.
Get the hand warmers going. I'm telling you, it's fine. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do it every game, but once every couple of years, fun.
Number 4, R.I.P. to the Chiefs. It was a great run.
It's official?
It's over. You lose to the Texans on Sunday Night Football.
At home.
That's why Nick Wright came out on a gurney smoking a, whatever it was, a Marlboro Silver.
That was awkward with Nick.
I put Nick in a body bag with that LeBron comment.
Wow. You got his ass when you said he was 4 for 17.
And everyone knows I'm always on the record.
That is true. Number 3, I think the Jags may have a legitimate, real shot to win the AFC.
Dude, them and the Bills, right? I mean, who else is it?
It's just you look around the league and it's like, who's here? Who's still around? The Broncos, maybe. The Patriots, maybe. Like, the Jags can get hot and something can happen. I don't know. They could win the AFC.
Is Amin okay?
I mean, like...
No.
He gave us a Medvedenko. I've been dying for a fake Stephen A. Bavacqua, but he's done.
He's fighting through right now.
Like right now, Tony, the first round of the playoffs, Jacksonville would host Buffalo. You think they'll win that game?
Anything can happen. Bad Josh game. They get the ground game going with ETN.
To Tony's point, though, outside of Buffalo, who do you trust more than them?
Maybe the Broncos defensively, but you don't super trust Bo Nix.
I would trust. I think New England will beat them.
New England, maybe, yeah.
All right, so far, most of the field, we believe.
No, but I disagree. I don't think, New England, yes, they look good in this regular season. We haven't seen them do it in the playoffs yet.
I think the Jags can get hot. Number 2, someone please take a look at the Raiders kicking a field goal with no time left on the clock while backdoor covering 7.5. Let's take a look at it.
At least you're not calling for murder.
I'm not calling for murder, not yet. But somebody should take a look at that because...
Careful.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Number 1, very quick, Bears frauds. It's over.
That's
they're not doing anything in the playoffs.
I'm not with you. Well, okay, those are two different things.
They're frauds. They're not doing anything in the playoffs. Same thing.
You saw Jordan Love on McAfee rocking the Toyota-thon quarter zip.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
He knows.
He knows what he's doing. And guess what? He's starting to play well.
Of course he is. It's Toyota-thon.
Good job, Tony.
Thank you, buddy.
So... we did a little bit of this with Dan earlier. Dan's up in New York City, of course. And
little bit of this, little bit of that.
He's back.
Yeah.
So Rich Paul and Max Kellerman have a new podcast, right? It must be new because Kellerman's out of hiding.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear pairings like that, I'm always thinking to myself, how many episodes are we getting in?
Well, I just wonder how did that come about?
I think Bill Simmons had something to do with it. I think he pitched this whole thing. He's got some connections behind the scenes.
Like he says to Kellerman, hey, you know who I think would be willing to do a show with you?
Yeah, like, hey, Max, you're about to come out of, whatever that contract hiatus that was. And, hey, you should do something with Rich. Rich, you know what? You've always respected Max. You guys should do something together. I'm just like, these guys are busy guys. They're not doing a podcast.
Well, how many times is it supposed to come out? Is it like a once a week kind of deal, I imagine?
Even if it's once a week.
Yeah. So, like, are you
I bet you it's one of those season situations where they'll do like a bunch of them. That's season 1, and then do like another season.
Like, are you
that makes sense.
Like, are you surprised that LeBron is still doing these episodes of the Mind the Game? I think he's doing it with Steve Nash, right?
Yeah, he is. I am surprised a little bit because also there's a video component to that in terms of talking about plays and stuff, but he seems to be committed to it, so.
So
Jeremy's connecting dots with all of this.
I'm
by the
telling
way.
you guys, this Rich Paul and LeBron narrative all around, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, it's not happening for no reason.
Yeah, Jeremy's been like obsessed for a few weeks now with how LeBron, and now it's Rich Paul, any opportunity they have to give the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra praise,
Yeah, that's right.
you're like marking it down.
I mean, it's happening constantly. Everywhere you look, was there a cat? Everywhere you look, every time they're talking about one team or another, they're ultimately also just squeezing in, hey, right before LeBron comes back and he's playing, was that Lil Jon? Right before LeBron comes back and he's talking to the media.
He's saying, oh, I can play anywhere. I'm going to fit into what's happening with the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? Coach Eric Spoelstra always said it, positionless basketball. I can play for any franchise in the NBA. Now, Rich Paul, when talking about what's going on with the Lakers, and them maybe not being a championship contender, what does he do? He singles out Pat Riley and the competitiveness that the Heat always had.
That
no
this
matter
is
what.
the way they do things.
This is how they've always done things. Why does it surprise you? It just has me asking.
Has you asking?
Hit the button.
Has you asking?
What are they doing?
Okay. So, Rich Paul, a couple things stood out to me, and we talked a little bit about it earlier. Well, the first one, which we played earlier, it was Rich Paul was not critical, but just straight up saying the Lakers, who are second in the West right now and are playing tonight in the NBA Cup against the Spurs, that they are not a championship contender, all right? I thought that was interesting, and you wonder, what's the MO there, because Rich Paul, and, who's, a mouthpiece for LeBron most of the time anyway, like, they don't say things not on purpose.
Who says this show doesn't have a female voice?
Happy to fill the role.
So, another thing that stood out to me, Amin, was here is Rich Paul, again, with Max Kellerman, and Rich Paul is seemingly telling you the way that LeBron, right now with the Lakers, the way LeBron should be used.
There's a couple things to be made, changes to be made in the short and the long. In the short, I'm putting LeBron as the screener because no offense to Ayton or Jackson Hayes, they're just not the decision maker coming out of the pick and roll.
It makes it hard. If you have Luka and LeBron in those roles,
what I'm saying.
because
Now,
LeBron is overqualified for that role.
But now all you need in that case, we've seen it, the guy in the dunker spot, and then the guy in the short corner. If they make shots, then you're very tough to beat.
So I always take a pretty simplistic view on this kind of stuff, For one, J.J. Redick has done a really nice job by all accounts with this Laker team. Like, overachieving right now, 17-6. You telling me Rich Paul is saying something here that J.J. Redick, hasn't thought about?
No, I think he's saying something that he probably wants to be more in the forefront and wants to apply pressure to J.J. Redick in that regard. The idea is look, it's not that J.J. doesn't know it, or that even that J.J. thinks it's a bad idea. But I remember when Steve Kerr, when they first did the death lineup with Iguodala in the lineup and Draymond at the 5 and Harrison Barnes at the 4, and the plus-minus was off the charts, but Steve Kerr would never do it until they got in the playoff games and all that. And they're like, why don't you do it all the time? Why isn't that your starting lineup? He's like, because that's not a card I want to play in the middle of December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a card you play Game 6 or whatever.
Yeah, there's a reason.
And so similarly, I would think the last thing you want is for the league to get tape on LeBron as a screener and how the Lakers do things. That's something you hold in your back pocket for another time, for a time where there's less preparation and more stakes at hand.
Or is it also sowing the seeds a little bit for why LeBron eventually will not be pleased with his, new role in LA?
But, I mean, you look at their team. They're second in the West in a really tough West. LeBron hasn't played. Luka and more so AR have carried that team to a 17-6 record. And it's like, LeBron, you got to get in where you fit in. And if it's playing the dunker spot, if it's playing pick and roll, if it's playing that, like he's very equipped, like he said, overqualified to be in that position. So why not use it?
Let me ask everybody a question then. What's more important to LeBron at this stage in his career? Being a role player on a Lakers team that apparently has a shot at winning a title, or being the main attraction for one last postseason run?
I wonder where he might want to do that.
For a team that has no shot?
In the Eastern Conference, if LeBron James is here in exchange for not a lot?
Yeah, but for a team with no shot, like that means there's only upside. Like there's some downside now with this Laker team. They're second in the Western Conference. They get to the postseason, LeBron doesn't play well. It's like,
Jeremy just did the trade machine. It's Hero. Who was it? It was Hero.
I didn't trade anybody.
Yeah, but come on. It was Gabe Vincent and LeBron for Hero and
Hero
Rozier.
and Rozier, salary-wise, works for LeBron and Gabe Vincent if you're adding a couple of picks. There's expiring stuff, and if the Lakers wanted to add another score to what it is that they're doing. No, if they're just trying to add another score off the bench. Are you saying does it fix anything for Miami?
Correct. Does that fix anything for Miami?
Yeah, it's certainly another decision maker with that bench lineup.
And it gives the Lakers another white guy who can score.
That's true.
Jake LaRavia is getting real lonely out there. It's like, Austin and Luka, they're cool together. I'm by myself here. Maxi Kleber never plays. And also, he's from another country.
You really think, because he's chasing the Michael Jordan thing, right? He's chasing ghosts. Regardless of his impact on that, you could always frame it like LeBron was in his 40s when they won that title. If he wins another one, don't you think that would go further than him just being the man on a Miami Heat team that may get bounced in the second round?
No, he's got to win one where it's like, it's clearly it was you. But I told you guys already where that's going to happen, and it's not Miami. I don't even think it's Cleveland either. There's only one place where LeBron can land.
New York.
Win a championship and have it count for 1 million championships. It's New York. There's no other location.
All right, that's fine. So then Giannis can come here instead of New York.
Sure. You want to trade Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier for Giannis?
We'll give him Jovic.
Come on. That seems like a good one. You're throwing in Jovic?
Oh, man, that's tough.
Throwing anybody.
Sometimes you acquire big stars. It's got to hurt a little bit. So we do have the Western Conference side of the NBA Cup tonight. In the Eastern side, you got New York and Orlando. Are you into that?
I'm into that. I'm a little upset as I'm watching that game. Yesterday, you talked about 6 p.m. me and the Lord start time. I'm watching that game, and I'm like, why did they start so early? And I was like, it's because Knicks-Raptors, also an Eastern time zone game, so they had to do them. I was like, okay. Then I was like, what's tomorrow's games? 2 Western Conference games? Hey, Amazon, I know you're new to this, but typically this is what we do. The East Coast game is the early game. The West Coast game is the late game. And then you do it again the next day.
So why'd they do that?
I think it's first time at the rodeo.
To make it fair, so you have the same amount of days of rest. Teams are going to be playing a couple days later.
They're all playing on Saturday.
They did it yesterday. We started at 6 Heat, and then there was 2 East games.
You can stagger this way easier.
They're both the semifinals. The next game is on Saturday.
Right.
So basically, Oklahoma City and Phoenix and the Spurs and Lakers, they're playing on Saturday anyway.
Right, but they'll play each other, right? So both Western Conference teams will have the same amount of rest. Both Eastern Conference teams will have the same amount of rest.
It's one day.
It's basketball. What are we doing?
If the Pistons and Knicks played tonight on Saturday, they would have one less day of rest than the Magic Heat game.
This is the playoffs, okay? They're not going to have playoff teams play against each other with different amounts of rest. Imagine if between games 2 and 3 of a first-round playoff series between it's the Knicks and the Magic here, if they just had the Knicks play another game in between.
No, we do this all the time. What are you guys talking about? There's sometimes in the playoffs where teams are playing game 3 before the other series has even got a game 2.
Yeah.
This is not new, the idea that, they had one extra day of rest before we had to play them in the next playoff game. That happens all the time.
I'll tell you, really, for the first time, because it was the Heat playing, I was dialed in to the NBA on Prime pregame show, the studio show. I think it's pretty good.
Good show, right?
Good show. They
I
do
think
a
it's
good job.
pretty
I saw a
good.
clip of UD and Halliburton talking about wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin asks good questions. Like he's good on that show.
They're all really good. Again, I have to point this out. UD, before he retired, I remember asking him, do you think you're going to get into media? And he looked like I spat in his face. And now this guy's everywhere. And he's good at it, of course.
Yep.
But I'm just a little like, hold on now.
Why'd you play me like that?
Yeah, like, oh, I would never do that.
So tonight, Suns Thunder, Spurs Lakers. I don't think we got Wembanyama, right? I think he's
No,
out.
Wemby.
Yeah, so you got to figure Lakers there.
Well, Spurs have been playing well without Wemby.
They have.
Thunder, though, right? It was last year with a. Now, look, the Thunder weren't 23-1 going into the NBA Cup last year, but the Thunder were cruising last year, too. I remember they had that dud of a game in the NBA Cup, and they lost.
They were cruising for a bruising, some might say.
All right.
No! Okay, maybe not.
Thought it was a play on.
Jeremy, you got some polls for us today? What do we got? Let's catch
I
up on
do.
all the polls.
All right, Big Fat White Face. Is Fontecchio going to make a shot? 69.3% of the audience says no.
No.
Y'all turned on him so fast.
But what is he? What is he? Seriously, what is he? Like 8 for 90 from
Yeah,
3?
you know what? A guy who makes 0 shots, I turn on.
I'm pretty sure he's Italian.
Is being too open a thing in basketball? 73% of the audience says yes.
It is a thing.
It is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yo,
Did you know that Phillip Rivers was a starter in college football when Bill Clinton was president? 63% of the audience says no.
Pre 9/11, folks.
Whoa.
So when 9/11 happened, Phillip Rivers was well into his sophomore season.
He was in his dorm room like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I remember that game against Chris Winkie.
Who was like 35.
Yeah. He's a coach now, right? Isn't Chris Winkie a coach somewhere?
Sure.
He's like a
He's on
quarterback coach.
AARP
I think
now.
he's one of the guys who trains the college quarterbacks.
I think he does that because when I was guest booking for this show, he was like working for a financial advisor, like a brokerage firm, as his look would kind of require in life.
Yeah. All right.
He literally coaches your team.
He is the assistant head coach, co-offensive coordinator, and QB coach at Georgia Tech.
Told y'all.
It's more of a full-time gig.
That's amazing.
He wasn't at all locked in. You can admit it now.
I knew he was a coach
You
somewhere.
weren't at all locked in on
I
the
knew.
Ramblin' Wreck.
What? I'm teaching you guys things.